we're honored to have 4 celebrities bowling on this squad. On lane 12, this gentleman is bowling in his 51st championships. From Green Acres, Florida, Douglas Swartz. On lane 27.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt Canizaro live at the National Bowling Stadium. We're here tonight at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. In just a few minutes, we're going to take a look at Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe, her husband, Team USA assistant coach Bryan O'Keefe, and they're very talented teams here at the Open Championships. They've been close the last couple of years. We'll see if they can make a run at it here tonight behind lanes 27 and 28 at the National Bowling Stadium. Stay tuned.
This gentleman bowled a 300 game in the 2009 doubles event from Bridgeview, Illinois, Ron Nelson Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center aisle. This gentleman made his first USBC Open Championships appearance at the 1951 event in St. Paul, Minnesota. In 59 Open Championship appearances, he has knocked down 97,192 pins for a career average of 185. His continued success and dedication to the sport earned him a place in the Minneapolis Bowling Hall of Fame. And today, he adds his name to another elite list as he becomes just the 17th bowler in tournament history to make 60 championship appearances. To commemorate this milestone, he will receive a plaque, chevron patch, and engraved money clip. He is being escorted by Wendy Clem. Please join us in welcoming him to the National Bowling Stadium from Crystal, Minnesota, Maynard Johnson.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are truly celebrating another significant chapter in Open Championships history as we welcome Mr. Maynard Johnson as our 17th member of the 60-year club. There have been more people on the surface of the moon that have made 60 trips down center aisle, and it's truly a rarefied area you're entering this evening, sir. Congratulations on this magnificent achievement. We have some wonderful gifts to celebrate the occasion. We have this beautiful gold and diamond money clip, 60 years on it, your name's on the back. We cherish that as a memento, and a wonderful plaque as well. I'm sure you've made a lot of friends along the way and had some wonderful experiences. I know you wanted to say a couple words, and so I'm going to turn the mic over to you and give you an opportunity to do so.
Well, it's been a lot of fun along the way. My next goal is to make 100,000 pins, but it takes me a longer time to get there than I hope. I hope to make many more.
Thank you, sir. Once again, congratulations. Great achievement. Fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us. Once again, this is Matt Kenazar. We're live at the National Bowling Stadium. We're here to watch Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe and her husband Bryan O'Keefe, Team USA assistant coach, and they're very talented teams, actually from all over. They come together every year here at the Open Championships, and we'll see if they can come together tonight to make a run at the team lead here in 2013. Big number on top, 35-38. The highest score in tournament history, 35-38. Lodge Lanes 2 from Orlando, Florida. So we're in practice mode right now. We'll be right back with you in a few minutes with game number 1. Thank you for joining us tonight, and stay tuned.
Please hold up. Please hold up. Practice is over. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind you, flash photography is not permitted during tournament competition. National Bowling Stadium, we're ready to begin the competition. Bowlers in the south of the bell, you may begin your competition. Good luck. Have a great time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Matt Canizaro live at the National Bowling Stadium. We are here to see Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe, her husband, Team USA assistant coach Bryan O'Keefe, and their talented group. See if they can make a run at it here at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. While we have this opportunity, let's take a quick look at the lineups for these two teams. First up, on Cambridge 1, this is the team with Shannon O'Keefe. Leadoff bowler Ron Nelson Jr. bowled a 300 game in the 2009 doubles event and finished third. In regular doubles with Bryan O'Keefe, Ron Nelson already started things off with a strike. Now up on the approach on late 27, Shannon O'Keefe. She'll be followed by her husband, Bryan O'Keefe, Bill Webb, and Chris Viali. And their companion team at Cambridge 2. David Chalifo, Stephen Dale, Bob Gaskill, Bruce Hall, and Chris Soule. So we're looking forward to an exciting evening here at the National Bowling Stadium. These teams certainly stacked and have made a run at it in recent years, both in the team event and team all events. So we'll see how things unfold here tonight. Last year, Shannon O'Keefe became the 8th woman in tournament history of the 300 on our championship lane. She did so in the team event. So we'll see if we can have a little more magic here tonight at the National Bowling Stadium. Thanks for joining us. Big crowd on hand tonight to watch these teams go at it here at the National Bowling Stadium. The number they're chasing right now, 35-38, the highest team score in tournament history, shot by 3-time champion John Gaines, 2-time winner John Janowitz, former Team USA member Vernon Peterson, PBA champion Scott Newell, and 1-time winner here at the Open Championships, Mitch Jabinski. So 35-38, highest score ever is what these teams are chasing tonight. Let's see. As we get settled in tonight here behind lanes 27 and 28 at the National Bowling Stadium, let's see who will stop by to chat with us over the next couple of hours. We've got some celebrities in the house right now. Dr. Dean Hinnitz standing right next to us, defending women's championships. Scratch team champion Jackie Wyckoff in the building as well. Matt McNeil planning on stopping by at some point to talk a little bit about strategy and what he saw from these two teams today during their practice session downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase lane. So all that and more. Thanks for joining us once again. Matt Cannizzaro here at the National Bowling Stadium. Air Smith will be here shortly as well. So grab a beverage and some popcorn, and we'll be here with you for the evening. All right, so these two teams, Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Listed from Arlington, Texas, Shannon O'Keefe, the captain. Chris Vialli, who you'll see up on lane 28 right now, the reason for the team names. He is the president and CEO of Cambridge Credit Counseling Corporation. And they've always been active in bowling, both collegiately and at the PBA level. Very involved in the sports. Big supporters, and obviously big supporters of these two teams here at the United States Bowling Congress Open Championships. Vialli, a former All-American at William Patterson back in the late 1980s, early 1990s. And I'm sure now that he's all grown up and in the real world with Cambridge Credit Union, Cambridge Credit Counseling Corporation, he'd love to see that name up on a championship banner here at the Open Championships or on the Joe Norris Trophy. So we do appreciate what the organization has done for the sport, again, collegiately and at the PBA level, and now here at the Open Championships with Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Here's our first official look at Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe stepping up on lane 27. She started this game with a spare and a strike. Now she's up in the third frame. She said she was going to start tonight with a Brunswick Nexus. And that looks like that's what it is. She leaves a 7-10 in the third frame, so a horrible break there early for Team USA Shannon O'Keefe. I did stop downstairs earlier today at the 900 Global Showcase lanes to see these folks in action as they were practicing. They had a 1-hour team practice session on the tournament team lane condition. All 10 of them got together, talked a little bit of strategy, equipment, and got their equipment ready for tonight. Bryan O'Keefe, assistant coach for Team USA, is about to step up on the left lane. is planned for tonight. Start things out with the Columbia Wicked Encounter. So a little hard to see from way up here in the booth what's going on down there, but I trust their strategy and their plan, so we'll see as things unfold. Like Aaron Smith finally decided to make it over here. He spent the day at the Women's Championships, which kicked off yesterday, just across town at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. The first time in history, both events are being held in the same host city in the same year. So a lot of excitement there as the first of more than 4,200 teams took to the lanes last night. Very nice ribbon cutting ceremony, and a lot of folks in town to see that and kick things off. Of course, today the first day of doubles and singles over at that venue, just 3 or so miles away. So we'll be back and forth for the duration of the two events. The Women's Championships will run from April 12th until July 1st. The Open Championships here at the National Bowling Stadium, March 1st to July 7th. So check bowl.com often for all the latest news and notes from both events. And of course, we'll have lots of live streaming action from both tournaments as well. Right now, it's all about Shannon and Bryan O'Keefe and their teams chasing the number 35-38, highest score in history. These folks in the pocket already early tonight. 10 pins not cooperating at this point, but still a long way to go. Quick rundown of the top 10 in the regular team event. Again, Lodge Lanes 2 of Orlando, Florida. On top, 35-38, highest score in history. Junior Team USA support, 35-21. Those guys went on to take the team all events lead with a pretty sizable number, 10,247. Third place, Red Carpet Lanes, Waukesha, Wisconsin, 34.99. And just last night, Blue Ball Rebellion, Wichita, Kansas, 33.75, and rounding out the top 5. Breakpoint Pro Shop 2, Sartell, Minnesota, 33.58. So these guys are going to make it into the top 10. It's going to take at least 33.19. That is the rundown. Now let's get back to the action and back to Aaron Smith. Aaron, nice little scenic drive over from the convention center. How are things over there tonight?
Things are going well, Matt. It was, as you mentioned, we're kicking off day number 2. Our first few sets of singles and doubles. Had team event last night, and a lot of excitement over there. It's a great 44-lane venue. It's pretty amazing. It's about 8 weeks they transformed an empty floor and a bunch of crates into just a spectacular bowling facility for the ladies, and we certainly hope they like it. We think it's pretty good. So yeah, we're heading over. Actually have another squad going on this evening. We have one more team event before closing up shop for the day. So we had a little excitement, and we had some VIPs over there, so we were getting to know them a little bit better, and now I'm over here enjoying the action. We got to see Shannon O'Keefe last night. She subbed on a team, putting up a very nice 7-15 series, and we get to see her again, so a whole lot of Shannon O'Keefe for us, Matt.
Well, very awesome opportunity, I would think, for the women to come to town and bowl both events in one trip. And like you said, Shannon took advantage of that, was able to bowl the Women's Championships last night, now over here with her husband and these two talented teams at the Open Championship. So hopefully more ladies will take advantage of that opportunity, as well as some of our other side events. 3 other events happening in this very building. The Storm Bowlers Journal Championships, presented by USBC, happening on lane 69 through 78 here at the National Bowling Stadium. And then downstairs, we already mentioned the 900 Global Showcase lanes, where these Cambridge Credit Union teams went to practice earlier today. They had their team session on this very lane condition, but those lanes also being used for the 900 Global 2-game challenge and the Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza Baker event for 3 players. So a little bit of fun, different formats, different divisions, average based, all different opportunities for bowlers of all skill levels, men and women, to compete here at the National Bowling Stadium. And of course across town at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. So a lot going on here in Reno. Glad to be here and looking forward to a good run all the way through July. More than 10,000 teams scheduled for the Open Championships this year, and more than 4,200 at the Women's Championships. So when it's all said and done, more than 100,000 people coming to town. So look out, Reno, here we come. Tough break for Viali on the right lane. 4-7-10. Viali is the president and CEO of the Cambridge Credit Counseling Corporation. The namesake of these two teams, Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Once again, big bowling supporters of the PBA and collegiate bowling, and of course here at the Open Championships. We did have some excitement in the team event yesterday. Ken Carson from New Jersey bowling with the 2 teams from Ebonite headquarters. Got off to a slow start, only struck twice in his first 8 frames, but closed out game number 1 with 3 strikes. Had the front 10 in game 2 for 286, and then found perfection, the 8th 300 of the year, in game number 3 for a 778 series. So 8 300s so far here in 2013, 6 of them in the team event. And for the first time in history, 2 different lane conditions here at the Open Championships. We have a 41-foot pattern for the team event, that's what you're looking at right now, and a 39-foot pattern for doubles and singles. So a true test of versatility for more than 50,000 bowlers coming to town this year. We'll have the rundown for the rest of the top 10 later on, but right now it's all about the team event. 35-38. Is the number they are chasing. In just a minute, we're going to hear from Matt McNeil, the featured coach downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase lanes. McNeil, a 3-time champion here at the USBC Open Championships and 2-time defending regular all events and regular doubles. He likes this building a lot, and he gets to spend many hours a week here now. Again, as the featured coach, USBC Silver coach downstairs, helping teams get ready for battle here at the National Bowling Stadium. And he was down there earlier while these Cambridge teams were practicing, and I know he was looking on. And let's take this opportunity to welcome Matt in and talk a little bit of strategy and what we're going to see tonight.
Well, thanks, Matty, for having me. And on a side note, I still love the building, even though I am eternally enslaved to this place for the next 4 or 5 months. So I'm still having a good time down here. Both Cambridge teams were down at the Showcase lanes at 3:30 today. I watched them. A lot of strikes. There wasn't really a whole lot of talk about a game plan. I think it was just kind of, throw it together last minute. And, even just standing behind the pair and watching what we're seeing, I'm really surprised for such a great collection of bowlers that we don't have a little more uniformity. I've already seen 3-4 guys left of 10 with a lot of surface. And then I've seen another 2-3 people trying to play right of 10 with some surface, which is okay. But as long as you don't have 3-4 guys to the left of you crossing you with surface, taking away the push that you're trying to build. So a little confused in the early going, and I think the scoreboard is certainly telling that story in my mind, as we're already starting to see guys go. We've already seen a couple big splits. We saw a big 4, and now this gentleman on 28, 4, 6, 7, 9. So I think it almost looks to me, Matt, like we're seeing not enough team play and maybe even a little too much surface. I mean, I'm a firm believer in 2000 is all about you need here. But I've been wrong in the past. We'll see what happens here. But I don't think they're going to create that wall to the left. And so when it comes time to move in, I think they're going to have, it's going to kind of be a minefield down lane. They're going to have a lot of over-under. And my Swami hat prediction is that they may have some difficulty having a higher scoring pace. But we will see. We will see. I have been wrong in the past. And hopefully I'm wrong here, because this is a great collection of bowlers, certainly capable of shooting a big score.
Well, Matt, when I was down there watching them earlier, I did talk to Shannon and Bryan O'Keefe a little bit about what the game plan was and some equipment questions. And Shannon said real simply, they've had a similar plan the last couple of years, and that was to, start out a little bit further right and just try to break them down and slowly move left. But as you can see, as we'll get into a little bit too, as the night progresses, the O'Keefe's team, very talented, very accomplished. Many accomplishments internationally, World Team Challenge, collegiately, you name it. They've really been to every level of the game and had a lot of success. However, their crossing team, some of those names are a little less familiar. And I think, that's going to play into it a little bit. Certainly experience, very important here.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, these guys are no strangers to the bright lights and the big stage. And, definitely not a stranger there. However, once again, going back, I really feel if you come out here and you have a companion team, you gotta really just sit down and lay it out on the table and be real with those folks and just say, hey, if we don't all work together, it's going to be a long night. And there's a lot of teams that just don't do that. I mean, take the initiative. You're spending so many dollars and so much time and effort getting out here. It's worth it to have a half an hour discussion, the 10 of you guys, and formulate some sort of plan that everybody's going to stick to.
Well, and I think also, like we said, they're here, with a basic game plan, but then experience for their second team, Cambridge 2, certainly coming into play. Also 2 left-handers on that team as well, so a little bit something different in the mix. But friendship, of course, very important here to this group as well. And I've seen it in the last couple of years, and I talked about it earlier today, that for the O'Keefes and Ron Nelson, Bill Webb, and Chris Vialli, team event, they've been close, but again, as we're talking about, the companion team, the team play, not 100% there. So if I was going to predict how they were going to fare again this year, I see them more putting up a strong team number, but their real push is going to be in the team all events category. They have the ability, the talent, the experience to put it together in the long haul. And, they'll certainly come out of this team event with a great score. But again, so many things come into play. But I think over the marathon, that's where this team excels. And we'll see over the next couple of days and the next couple of games here in the team event.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You look at Shannon, you look at Ron Nelson. He's a great player from the Midwest. Bryan, Bill Webb, an amazing player. I mean, very underrated. I heard he's got like 20 or 30 New England Bowling Association titles, tons of regionals. I mean, just really a guy who stays underneath the radar but really can get it done, and he can hang a big number on you, in no time. So, and then you got Chris Vialli, he's no slouch himself. So, that group of 5, certainly very capable. It really, I believe, is just going to come down to how the double singles pairing gets arranged and then how they work together and really how they start in doubles and singles, and whether they can do what we saw Junior Team USA Support do just the other week, and that is set up the double singles pattern to create a very high scoring environment. And I think that's the catch-22 out here at the national tournament. I hope somebody listening to this right now writes it down, pays attention, buys into it, because I promise I'm not going to lead you astray. You have to play right as long as you can to set them up for doubles and singles. And that's what Junior Team USA Support did, and obviously they paid dividends for doing so. But it's just an absolute must. Too many guys get suckered into the middle right away, and they blow up all the hold, and before you know it, you're at 5th, 6th arrow. And I tell you what, you can shoot numbers from 5th, 6th arrow, but it's not as easy to shoot numbers from 5th, 6th arrow as it is 3rd arrow. So, we certainly time will tell. However, my big concern right now watching this is the different angles being used, almost even too much surface, as we saw the Stephen Dale Jr. here on 27. That looks about 1,500 grit from back here, and he's just starting it at about 12, 13 at the arrows, and that's really where we're trying to create push, not take it away. So we'll see what happens here. But
well, Stephen Dale Jr. Certainly not a newcomer at this event. This is his 11th tournament, a 208.6 career average. He shot 2089 last time here in Reno. He's kind of a West Coast guy. He bowled all the Reno stops in his last 2 events, 10 and 11, both in Reno. 2089 back in 2011. So he certainly knows what he's doing. 756 in the singles for 208. So we will see. He must like the stadium. He's from New Hampshire. So
another New England guy, and they're pretty tough. Those New England guys. They're, a good friend of mine, Alex Aguilar. I've gotten the privilege to bowl many high roller tournaments, mini eliminators with him. And you want to talk about grinders? Those guys are tough as nails. So we see a nice shot there from Bill Webb. They just get it done, and they can really, like I said, a guy like Bill Webb can hang 750 on you before you even know it's over. And before you know it, now he's sitting at 2,200. So, we'll see what happens here. But second and third games, I predict very interesting.
Well, this Cambridge 1 team last year finished 4th. And on a very challenging lane condition, they actually shot 33-19 last year with a 12-37 finish. So their strategy, break them down and make some room, and they certainly did. Shannon O'Keefe led the way, 755 a team last year with a 300 game. And Shannon bowling in just her 5th Open Championships, but her team averaged 234.2. So she's all about the team event. 208 in doubles, 214 in singles for 218.9 overall in her 4 years here. Which that 234, that just goes to show. She's grown up, in the team environment, Team USA, and of course the opportunity to bowl with her husband and these other great players. She's certainly taking advantage and wants to make herself stand out. Obviously, I know we joked with Bryan a couple of years back about if he'd ever let Shannon bowl with him. It was for a long time about him and the boys just having a nice trip. And Shannon had her own group that she bowled with, but of course, as talented as she is, it didn't take much convincing for Bryan to add her to this group, and it's paid off a lot. And last year, 4th place in team. We'll see what happens this year. A lot of strikes up on the board now. Everybody struck in frame number 6 for Cambridge 1. So we'll see how things develop.
Yeah, that's a big star frame for Cambridge 1 there. That's when you call the beer lady and line them up. But it will really be interesting to see how the lanes breakdown, transition, whatever you like to call it. I just saw that shot on 28 from David Chalifax, I think is the pronunciation on it, and gotcha. And it looked pretty good off his hand, and it just snap hooked high. which almost tells me that they're using a little too much surface in the beginning because, I mean, we're only 6 frames into the first game, and already we're seeing massive over-under. Now, see, Steph and Dale just got it to the same spot, and it just blew right through the break point. So I'm thinking that we're seeing over-under early because too much surface was used, and too many people are crossing paths. You know, you got Ron Nelson, O'Keefe, Bryan, I should say, Webb. Who else we got looping it a little bit? And then you got guys trying to play straight, and I think that's really attributing to the over-under. Oh, that's a tough break there. But, yeah, man, I think this is classic example of, you know, a good team that has a very good opportunity, but you got to make sure all 10 guys on that pair are really working together to create a hospitable scoring environment. And that's obviously Red Carpet Lanes, Junior Team USA Support, and Lodge Lanes too. They've all managed to do that. If you're a team coming out here, you got to say, what did those guys do? We need to do that, because that's going to make them nice. I think what we're seeing right here is almost an example of maybe some things to stray away from, as 28 seems to be getting pretty dicey right there. That shot looked pretty good, and then it really just labored down lane. So we shall see. We shall see. And Shannon's just a champ. Plus, I really like that pink belt she's wearing. I think that's very sharp. I like the white pants, as you well know. And that's what I really like about this team. They're all looking professional. They all got nice shirts, nice belts, nice pants. I always say, if you can't look good, you can't score good. So take advantage of that coming out here. Look good, score good. Plus, you get those cool team pride pins, right?
Yep, it's all about, of course, team unity, camaraderie, and teamwork, and of course, dress alike and come away with the Pride Award. Come away with something. Dress for success, as we also say in the media relations department. And Aaron Smith has alerted us to lane 19, where Ray Watts has 7 consecutive strikes to start game number 1 here, so we'll keep an eye on him as well.
It's
And
got
that
the red
gives
X's.
us a perfect opportunity to talk a little bit about the X Bowling. And X Bowling you can get on your iPhone or Android device. X Bowling Tournament Edition is a free app at the App Store, or you can go to xbowling.com and go to the tournament edition of that. You can check out live scoring from here at the USBC Open Championships. I actually took advantage of that earlier today. I was downstairs at the 900 Global Showcase Lanes talking to Mr. McNeil and a couple of VIPs, and was alerted over the radio that somebody had the front 7 upstairs during doubles and singles. So pulled out the iPhone and got on X Bowling Tournament Edition and followed the rest of that game to see how things developed. That gentleman did not shoot 300, but I was there watching, and you can do that from anywhere, so you won't miss a minute of the action. So if you're watching us right now and you're curious about lane 19, go ahead and tune in now. X Bowling Tournament Edition, and you can follow along. We'll, of course, do the same as we are behind lanes 27 and 28, watching Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2.
And another cool thing, Maddie, about the X Bowling app is for $25, you can enter the X Bowling 90 frame. Is it 90 frames?
It's a 90 frame X game.
90 frame X game that pays up to a whopping $50,000 for $25. I mean, that's the best bet in Reno. I don't think you can find a bet anywhere like that. So definitely worth it, if not just for the cool, ability to keep a watch on your friends, keep an eye on the leaderboards, all that good stuff. But also, $50,000 reasons to enter into that contest. I mean, because that's just money you can't pass up.
Well, certainly technology playing a big part in the 2013 Open Championships, along with the live scoring from X Bowling. You also have the opportunity to check out all kinds of cool stats, even when you go home. I was actually curious last night. I mentioned Ken Carson shot 300 in his final game of the team event. had the front 10 the game before that, and I was over at the convention center at the Women's Championships opening ceremonies, and I was curious what he left in game number 2 when he had the front 10, and went to X Bowling and was able to find out it was the 2A10 on his 11th shot. So very cool. You can check that out when you get home from the Open Championships for your own scores, or follow along with everybody else. Again, the 90 frame X game also on there, and just some cool other stats about how many pins have been knocked down, how many balls have been rolled, all kinds of goodies on there, so check that out. And speaking of technology, we have 3 video cameras in the National Bowling Stadium as well, so you can get on there and anytime actually of the day while somebody's bowling out there, you can check them out live, just see the action, and some point and click cameras as well, which will allow you to look at the scoreboards. So certainly check all that out and more on the Open Championships page on bowl.com. You'd be surprised as technology changes what we're able to offer on there, so don't be a stranger.
Shannon going high on 28 for a 4-pin. I think right now, just from what I'm seeing, I think 28 might be the bugaboo here for a little bit. I've seen some guys get the ball down the lane. It totally misses the front part of the lane, totally misses the mid lane, and then just sails. They wash out. They 2-8-10, something like that. And then if they're gentle with it and they try to soften up, Shannon just left 4-pin on a pretty decent shot out there. So we'll see what happens on lane 28. I think that's going to be the lane to watch. And I believe, if my memory serves me correct, this is usually a pair that gives you a little more forgiveness on the outs, according to John Gaines and Mr. Janowitz. It gives you a little more free hook, but also, that being said, there isn't as much hold as maybe on some of the other pairs. So it's a kind of a give and take thing, I believe, on lanes 27, 28 here. And that might be why we are seeing players a little left. That needs a lot of help. Yeah, that was cut off there a little bit.
Well, Bryan O'Keefe was going for 5 in a row, and leaves the 6-10.
Oh.
O'Keefe again, Team USA assistant coach, national champion at University of Nebraska, and a many-time World Team Challenge titleist. So
back in the good old days, huh?
He's certainly been around a little bit. This is his 20th Open Championships, so he'll make a run at the lifetime average list now. 213 for 19 years, so we'll see if he can add his name to that list after this year.
Oh boy. No. And that's one of the things, Matty, right there, okay? And Brian's such a nice guy. He'll let me say this about spare shooting. The number one thing that I cannot stress to teams enough downstairs at the showcase lanes is 100% commitment, 100% focus on every single spare. Now, granted, this year there are more strikes on the board, yes. But for just that hole, that takes away that 4-bagger, and now that puts him back on a 2-0 pace instead of 220 pace. Okay, so that just cost him 12 pins and the team 12 pins. And now he's got a double to get back to where he was. So, and now Bill Webb came up, made a great shot, picked him up. That's good teamwork right there. But that's how important spare shooting is here. And take a guy like Jeff Regals, who has the 90 clean. That's a big part of the reason why he has so many eagles, is because he's able to fill frames, cover spares. I just can't tell. I mean, even in 2011 when I made my run at it, if I could have just filled frames, I would have been there. So filling frames, very, very important out here. Please, if you're listening to my voice right now, take that to heart when you guys come out here. I can't stress enough how important it is.
Well,
Good
Matt,
shot.
in any event, anytime, any league, obviously spare is very important, and then you come to the Open Championships on a sport bowling, sport certified lane condition. Premium on shot making. You want to make good shots, of course, stay around the pocket, and leave something makeable. And spares are typically the difference between potentially winning an eagle or just getting a prize check. So for everybody, no matter what your skill level is. You want to make your spares, of course, anywhere, anytime, and especially here when there's going to be a few less strikes. And this year's team pattern, a little bit high scoring, doubles and singles, a little bit more challenging at 39 feet compared to 41. But certainly we see on the scoreboard a lot of strikes.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And a few holes, and there's going to be a tough spare for Ron Nelson.
And I really feel, Matty, I mean, I'm just seeing, I mean, they're crossing so many boards right away. And it's like I want to pinch myself, and I hope I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, because this is such a good collection of bowlers. I just can't believe right away these guys are already crossing this many boards. I mean, they're in territory that, Gaines was in at like two after 2 games, almost 2 1/4 games, and they're already there. I mean, you get a little quick on one, you hang one, you thumb one down, and it's just, you're getting a question mark on the back end. And this pattern really supports going up the lane, keeping the angles straight through the front part of the lane. And I believe if you can do that, you're really going to master the pattern. But they definitely got their work cut out for them here. If anybody can do it, it'd certainly be this group. Such a great collection of bowlers.
Well, here's a look at O'Keefe back up on the left lane. Great shot there. She's been right in the pocket the whole night. 10-pin in the first frame, 7-10 in the third, and then a 4-pin in the eighth. So she's right where she needs to be. And again, she's throwing that Brunswick Nexus to start. And then she's got a whole arsenal of deviate equipment to go to as the night progresses.
And I'm going to guess that there is a diva in that mix, Maddie. It's the M² connection here.
All right, let's see if Bryan O'Keefe can get back on track after the spare miscue. We chopped to 6-10 in frame number 8.
Yeah, that's about 13 at the arrows already, and that wasn't all that bad. But now they've really forced themselves. You saw Ron Nelson now on that lane. Ron Nelson threw a similar shot, got it to about 4 or 5 down lane, and he 2 4-10s, right? Okay. Now O'Keefe gets up pretty close to the same spot around the arrows. Gets it to about, I think that was right around probably 8-9 down lane. Snap hook high, almost through the nose. So now they've already limited themselves to 3 boards down lane. Instead of making area, they're actually closing the gap and funneling. And that's just, man, it looks difficult out there. It looks like, we're taking something somewhat challenging to start with. Obviously, it's a sport pattern, but it's almost like we're making it more challenging. And I mean, Ray had the front 8, and it looks like a wrap 10-pin. Or no, it was, what's that look like, Maddie? On 19 there.
It actually looks like a 6-pin from here. It's very hard to tell. We're about 10 lanes away. It's certainly a solid start for Mr. Ray Watts on lane 19. Front 8, and
I'm liking that first game for brackets.
And he did miss the spare, so again, spares monumentally important here.
Come on now, Ray. Got to make those spares.
We'll keep an eye on Ray the rest of the way, but let's turn our attention back here to 27 and 8. Left-hander Chris Soule got that one a little bit wide, misses the head pin. And we saw with our junior Team USA support guys just the other day, very talented group of former Team USA members, junior team collegiate bowlers. One left-hander in the group, however, Jeffrey Mersch. And not to say he struggled, he didn't have the best time. He still shot 1900, but he was low in the group by 150 pins. So there's certainly a lot of questions now in the chat room and elsewhere about the lefties and the strategy coming out here. But Matt, obviously we're both left-handed, and you have a bigger task at hand coming out here this year with 2 titles on the line. But you spent a lot of time here. You've watched a lot of great bowlers and helped some practice and get ready for this event. But what's your advice for the left-handers? Obviously the right-handers, very simple strategy. You know, you want to break it down 6, 7, 8, you know, and then creep left as the night progresses. But what can we tell the lefties?
Well, I would say just about the exact same for the left-handers. I've been practicing on the pattern quite a bit, getting ready for my title defenses, and I'm seeing a lot of similarities that hold true on the right side are also holding true on the left side. You want a ball that has a little surface that slows down. You want a ball that doesn't flare a whole lot. You want to cover less boards. You want to keep your angle straighter through the front part of the lanes. These are all universal things that I'm telling right-handed and left-handed players. I mean, I really feel on the left side, team is really your golden goose. That's the time you really need to take advantage because singles and doubles is more challenging. So the more pins I feel, especially on the left, that you can get, the better off you'll be for all events and team all events because you're not going to have as much traffic on that singles doubles pattern to transition the pattern like the right-handers do. And the right-handers can take a challenging pattern and make it a lot nicer, whereas us on the left side, if we have something challenging to start, it's very difficult for us to make it into something less challenging just because there's a limited amount of traffic on our side. So I really feel if I, as a left-hander, talking to another left-hander, I say a good rolly solid that doesn't flare a whole lot, going right up, 6, 7, 8, keeping it in play, keeping your angle straight through the front part of the lane, and rolling the ball. And I really feel that's going to be the difference maker for left-handers if you can keep your angle straight versus giving it away. And I think that's what we're seeing Chris Soule doing. He's trying to really go around the pattern and struggling for his efforts, just not making it look all that nice.
Well, Matt, a lot of great opportunities inside the stadium here this year. Of course, if you want to take a look at the team pattern, you can do so downstairs at the 900 Global Showcase lanes. The very same oil and surface, everything to give you the best chance to get a preview of what you're going to see upstairs here. Of course, things a little bit different once the lights come on, but you want to get down there with your team, take a look at the pattern, get your equipment ready, have a strategy session. That's the time and place to do it. That opportunity for everybody who walks through the door here at the National Bowling Stadium. The 41-foot team pattern available downstairs. $100 for an hour for up to you and 9 teammates. So 10 people can go out there, $10 a guy to practice for an hour and get a preview of what you're going to see. That's kind of a no-brainer. And then if you want some help from an expert who's here every single day, Matt McNeil available. That's an extra $100, so $200 for up to 10 of you, $20 a guy to get some tips from somebody who sees what's happening every single day here. And then, of course, for the first time ever, 2 different lane conditions and also an opportunity to see the doubles and singles pattern here at the National Bowling Stadium. Just go to the high end of the center, lane 69 to 78, the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships. And that's using the doubles and singles 39-foot pattern over there. So you get a chance to win a little bit extra prize money at the Bowlers Journal. And you get to bowl 3 games on the doubles and singles pattern, again, to come up with some good ideas, some strategies before you head out to the main tournament lanes. Of course, you only get one shot at it, so you want to be at your best. You want to have the best idea, take advantage of every opportunity you can to be prepared, whether it's advice or just practice and just getting comfortable. All of those opportunities available here. So if you want to win, to be a champion, take advantage of what you can, for sure.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and all these opportunities are here, so it really takes away the excuses. Oh, I didn't get to practice on the pattern. Oh, I couldn't do this. I couldn't see how my ball reacted. I couldn't do this. I couldn't. All the excuses really out the window. You're spending all this time and money out here, coming out here, getting out here to bowl with your friends. Make it a good experience. I guarantee your time, energy, and money will pay dividends if you guys get in brackets, or just in the general satisfaction that you walk away from the tournament with. I mean, say you get a 30 clean, okay, yeah, you get a nice 30 clean clock. Matty, as I always tell you, I'm always 1 clock short of a full collection. So you get out what you put into it, and I really hope that people take that to heart. The more you give, the more you get, just like the Beatles say, and I couldn't agree more with that statement. Take advantage of everything here. USBC is really, wants people to take advantage of coaching. They want people to take advantage of the side events that give you a free look on the tournament. They want you to take advantage of the showcase lanes. USBC wants everybody to come out here, have a good time, bowl well, so you come back next year. It's not like, this is some big conspiracy theory where we want everybody to struggle and be miserable. No, we want people to come back, want people to have a good time, enjoy the tournament, plus enjoy the time with your friends. And that is certainly a lot easier when everybody bowls well.
All right, these two teams certainly took advantage of what's available here. They bowled the Bowlers Journal Championships yesterday before Shannon actually headed over to the Women's Championships to bowl on that opening squad. And again, they had their team practice session earlier today, got their strategy and their equipment in place. They might have even stopped by the Bowlers Journal again this afternoon. Like, why not? You come in the building here at the National Bowling Stadium, and 4 great tournaments all happening under one roof. So you put your bowling shoes on early in the morning, and you don't have to take them off again until the end of the day. And if you're a competitive bowler and you're coming to Reno, plenty to see and do. Plenty of bowling, plenty of prize money to be won. And these teams took advantage of it. And once again, this is the first game of tonight's team event. We are behind lanes 27 and 28 at the National Bowling Stadium. Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Here at the 2013 USBC Open Championships, this is Matt Canizaro and Matt McNeil bringing it to you live. So far, Ron Nelson for Cambridge 1, 195. Shannon O'Keefe, 226. Bryan O'Keefe, 214. And for Cambridge 2, a nice 10th frame so far. David Chalifo strikes out for 217. Stephen Dale strikes out for 207. Brian Gaskill doubles an 8 for 233. Now, these teams come from all different parts of the country. We've got a couple of these guys from the Northeast, Connecticut, New Hampshire. Bill Webb from up there as well. Big again in the New England Bowling Association. And Bruce Hall from California. Brian and Shannon O'Keefe from Arlington, Texas. So no doubt all of these folks practiced on their own, on the pattern if it was available at a local bowling center. And then they came together with their ideas and some thoughts of what they collected and came together at the National Bowling Stadium to put it all into play for strategy for tonight. And that's what it's all about. Again, great friends from across the country reuniting here. They look like champions, no doubt. And certainly have some confidence after a great performance last year in Baton Rouge. And always a threat. These guys very accomplished, especially this Cambridge 1 team. And right now we're looking at Bill Webb, many, many titles up there in the New England area.
Absolute solid player.
The 2012 New Haven City Bowler of the Year.
Solid player, solid game, good fundamentals. And now let's look at this, Matty, okay? I'm already seeing guys into 15, 16, 17 at the arrows. And that's really where Gaines finished. Remember when we watched them finish? Obviously it wasn't on the live stream, but you and me were both there watching history in the making. That's where those guys finished. And these guys are already there after a game. And that just raises the red flag of concern for me as far as what's going to happen in the next 2 games.
Well, it does look like we're probably going to see some ball changes here. We saw Bill Webb go to something a little bit different there on the fill. Probably see some weaker equipment, some shinier equipment go down the lane in that spot that they've been burning up. So maybe there's some reason to all of it. Again, basic strategy for many teams is to play the same general area of the lane, usually towards the outside part of the lane with a little bit of surface, and they can creep in and have some nice bounce area as the night progresses. The new oil from Kegel, the ice, doesn't break down or transition as fast as previous oils, so you're going to actually stay in the same place longer. So some teams coming out, we saw Nicholas Jace Pro Shop potentially the defending champions with too much surface early, and then you want to try to break through that oil, thinking that that's what you need to do, that it's going to hold up longer, so you need to be more aggressive with it, and then at the same time, you're speeding along that transition, but you're also blowing up the front part of the lane and giving yourself some difficulty. We've seen a lot of teams, expecting to make a move in a certain part of the game. 9 frames in, for example, they're used to, it's time to make a move left, let's do it. And that move not being necessary this year with the new oil. And then at that point, it's whether or not they figure out that they need to just go back where they were, or do they try to fight it and sacrifice, some pins along the way. So a lot of different things to think about this year, but it really seems like the strategy is the same. And you go out there and you do it, and you have the benefit of getting to stay in the same place longer. So if you're comfortable there, that's great. You don't have to think through the moves. You don't have to move left. You don't have to change balls. You're right there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The team strategy is very, very important. Obviously, if there's less team strategy, more ambiguity, transitions become more difficult, and shot making goes up. The percentage of the quality of shot goes up. They started with 1082 here, so they're not out of it. They need a lot of strikes. Got to hang up a lot of strikes on the board. If we were back in the good old days of manual scorekeeping, got to hang a lot of X's up on that scoreboard there, my good friend. And like I said, if there's anybody who can do it, certainly this great group of great bowlers.
Well, 1082 certainly not a bad score at all at the Open Championships. I can tell you probably 10,000 teams that would be thrilled to start with 1082. Now let's see if they can make something happen here, maybe take advantage of some area created. Certainly enough talent to overpower any early miscues or any mistakes, and you really can't overpower a bad break like that. That's her second 7-10 so far today. She's been in the pocket every frame, every shot, and just 2 bad breaks, 1 on each lane.
Yeah, and that wasn't a bad pitch, not at all. Now, but what I'm more concerned about is I'm watching ball reaction, how that ball's going through the pins. Now, that was almost a weak 7-10. I mean, I really feel like that ball really didn't retain all that much energy, really burned up, and just didn't hit the pocket very hard. I mean, should it have gotten 9? Yeah. Should it have struck? Most likely, yeah. But I'm looking at ball reaction here. I'm seeing that ball burn up, losing energy, and not having enough energy to go through the pins properly in a fashion that will carry 10. And that's on that lane 28, which I really feel is burning up a little bit in the fronts, because I think there's a excessive use of surface and a lot of crossing. A lot of guys, standing left, throwing right, which I feel is demonstrative and not the correct way to play them. But I really hope they prove me wrong. I really do, because a great group of bowlers. And,
very talented and very
yes.
knowledgeable. Bryan
Yes.
O'Keefe, a USBC silver coach as well, Team USA assistant coach. He's been around quite a few years, a national champion at the University of Nebraska back in '96. He's got great eyes for the game, and certainly he's always there to help Shannon kind of work through some things at the International Training and Research Center there in Arlington, Texas. So, Bryan, a very good eye for the game, no doubt. He's thinking through this right now, and he's going to have some advice, not only for his wife, but the rest of his teammates as well. He's got a great mind, and he's a great coach. And he might not bowl as much as he used to. He was a great competitor, a lot of accomplishments, and he's more behind the scenes now. And they're talking about it right now, him and Ron Nelson. Certainly, O'Keefe still a very talented player. They did finish 3rd in doubles in 2009, and he can really turn it on. He just recently won a Texas State All-Events title, shot 2,300 plus. So certainly has the ability. And now they're talking through what they're seeing, what's going on. They're watching Bill Webb right now, who shot 257 in game 1. He made a ball change on the fill, changed back now for frame number 1, and great results. So they're going to talk a little bit more. They're going to talk to Bill Webb now and see what that shot was like. And Ron Nelson's going to step up now. He started the night with 195. Started game 2 with a strike. Certainly a better idea, I'm thinking, after that conversation. So we'll see here in just a second.
Yeah, and that was actually the first kind of powwow we've seen down there among the team. And one of the things I definitely can't stress enough is good team communication. Always be communicating with the team. Always be telling your teammates what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what's going on out there. Because that keeps you away from making the same bad mistake over and over. One guy gets up, throws a good shot, bad result. Next guy, he shouldn't get up and throw it there because he's going to get the same bad result. Now Ronnie Nelson, all right. That away, Ronnie. You know, he starts off good double. So hopefully they're starting to get a little comfortable, get settled in, start making some good shots, start hanging some X's up on the board. I think we're going to need to see a ball change from Shannon. I think she needs to go to something that's going to retain a little more energy on the backs and maybe make a small creep to the left here. But we shall see.
Well,
and
you can see by their hand gestures, they're talking a little bit about angles and crossing boards and changing up their angles to get a little better carry. All different ideas at this point. We talked earlier about a couple people in, a couple people out.
There's a ball change.
There's the ball change, and again a nice shot.
Flat 10. So she'll hone in on it. She's a classic champion. Definitely knows what's going on out there. So I would not be surprised if we see the next shot, probably a 2-1 left, to get the ball down the lane and get it to retain a little more energy and set up and go through the pocket just a little better, trip that 10 out. But we shall see. I think everybody's going to be rallying behind Bill Webb. Obviously, the best look on the pair, scoring the best on the pair, throwing it very well. Good rhythm, good tempo. So we shall see what happens there. But looking at my watch, it is past my dinner time, Mr. Canizero. I am going to leave you in the very capable hands of Mr. Aaron Smith. But I do want to say thank you for letting me join you up in the booth again. And we'll look forward to the next live stream.
All right, Mr. McNeil, USBC Silver Coach, and the featured coach downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase lanes. He'll be putting his 2 titles on the line in just a couple of weeks. And we'll have his doubles and singles live for you late at night on May 1st out here in Reno, 10:30 p.m., 1:30 Eastern. If you'd like to check out our live stream schedule, you can find that on bowl.com. Just go to the main page and check out the right side of your screen. And it will tell you all of the great live streaming events coming up in the near future. Our associate Lucas Wiseman headed to Lincoln, Nebraska very shortly to bring you the Intercollegiate Singles and Team Championships. He'll be on the air April 16th through the 19th. Pretty much all day, so be sure to check that out here on Bowl TV. Lucas Wiseman and the Intercollegiate Singles and Team Championships. So a lot of great action here, not just from Reno and the Open and Women's Championships, but the globetrotting Lucas Wiseman always checking out some great action. College bowling, of course, always very exciting. Some going on earlier tonight, NCAA action on TV. So a little bit of everything for the bowling fans, and we do appreciate you joining us here tonight for Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. And that's Cambridge Credit Counseling, big supporter of the sport at the PBA and collegiate level, and here at the Open Championships. Chris Viali, who you're going to see up on the left lane in just a second, is the president and CEO of that company. So we appreciate their support. Aaron Smith joining us back in the booth. Aaron, what's going on tonight?
Not too much, Matt. Just got back from the Women's Championships. Kicked off day 2, and now we're lucky enough to see some top-notch action here at the Open Championships. I got to watch most of the first game from our center desk booth. And outside of a few tough breaks there, it seemed like they put together a pretty solid effort.
Well, 1082, always a great score here at the Open Championships. However, they're going to have some work to do. Big number on top, 35-38. So if they're going to look at a legitimate chance at the top 5, it's going to take 3,400, and a lot of way to go there. 1082, solid start, but it's time to start piling on the strikes for sure. Well, Lodge Lanes 2 on top. They started with 1206, 1167, 1165. And a couple teams just days apart making runs at it. Junior Team USA Support 1, 35-21. Red Carpet Lanes, 34-99. All of those teams shooting 1,200 at least one of the games. But Red Carpet Lanes started with 1075, followed that up with 1150 and 1270, the third highest game ever. So it's going to take at least a big one at this point. But certainly this team very talented and capable. We'll see as things unfold. Well, Aaron, that was Bryan O'Keefe telling me that my predictions earlier not so good. I told him that he was going to shoot 298 in game 2 and 813 for the night. So I don't think it was my prediction. I think it's his fault.
Well, to be fair, Bryan still has room for 800 there. So
O'Keefe starting with 214 tonight. So it's still out there.
298's gone, but game 3, why not?
It was just an estimate, and of course I'm sure he thought that sounded great. Why not? I think he's due. Third place finish in doubles in 2009, and a lot of great accomplishments in his career. And I think he's due for his shot at an eagle. He certainly put together a talented team, and they've been close. Finished 4th in the team event last year, so. As a bowling fan and a friend, certainly he's one of those guys who's been knocking on the door, and it's about time for that to happen. Just like our Junior Team USA support guys, they're still young, but they've accomplished a lot, and a couple close calls over the years, and now they're leading team all events, 10,247, a solid number. So we'll see how that holds up.
I was going to say, Junior Team USA Support 1 has few facts and tidbits that not too many folks can claim. They have a 1,500 doubles score and a 3,500 team score, and neither of those resulted in eagles. So perhaps it's time that the ball fell in their court, and there's still a lot of bowling left to do here at the 2013 USBC Open Championships.
Well, a lot of great teams coming through. 10,253 teams scheduled to come through Reno this year. And we're just barely a month or so in. We started on March 1st, and we'll be going until July 7th. So many, many great teams and great bowlers watching these broadcasts, doing their homework, practicing hard on sport bowling lane conditions, coming here equipped and ready to make a run at some of the top numbers. And right now, the number these guys are shooting at 35-38. It is a monster. It's almost hard to say 35-38 every time, because you're just not used to saying that. Before this year, and it only happened twice in tournament history. And now it's happened twice this year, almost 3 times. So it's going to take a bunch. So you got to do your homework and come out and fill frames for sure.
Catch a few breaks as well. That certainly never hurt anybody, but.
Well, Shannon O'Keefe with a couple of tough breaks here tonight, a pair of 710s.
Seems like she's gone through a few different balls here in the early going of Team Met.
Well, she came out of the game plan, and that was to throw the Brunswick Nexus early, and then she has an arsenal of deviate equipment to go to after that. As we talked about with McNeil, that Nexus seemed to be burning up a little bit and not driving through the pins quite the way she wanted it to. So she made a ball change here early in game number 2. It almost looked like a second ball change in the third frame.
I believe so.
But that resulted in a split. So she was around the pocket all the way up until that point, just a couple bad breaks. And that shot either just not good or a bad ball choice. So she's looking at a pair of opens and a spare here through 3 frames after a pretty solid 226 start. So we'll see if she can get back on track. But right now, Chris Viali, the president and CEO of Cambridge Credit Counseling, stepping up on the right lane, looking for 3 in a row. Viali, an All-American at William Patterson, Aaron, back before you were even out and about in the late 1980s and early 1990s. So a lot of accomplishments and a lot of years under his belt as well.
I was a little guy back then. I still never had hair like that. That is impressive.
So we do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. These great teams, great bowlers, live on Bowl TV. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith, live at the National Bowling Stadium, 2013 USBC Open Championships. One of more than 24 live stream broadcasts from Reno this year between the Open and Women's Championships, both events in the same host city in the same year for the very first time. So a very cool opportunity for us to be a part of that, and for all the women headed this way to bowl in both national tournaments in one trip. So of course the Women's Championships kicked off last night, but Aaron, a couple lanes away, actually on lane 22 right now. Zon Soto is one of a handful of young ladies here at the Open Championships this year, celebrating 20 years on the Open Championships lanes. Now that may not sound like a lot compared to our gentleman earlier tonight, Maynard Johnson, who joined a very elite group when he made his 60th appearance here. But the women first allowed to bowl at the Open Championships in 1994. So Zon, one of a small handful, I believe the number is 11, who have bowled every single Open Championships they've been invited to. So 1994 she made her debut. She's here tonight celebrating 20 years. She's the 3rd one of the year. And looking forward to seeing the rest of them come out as well. Very cool opportunity for her. She's bowled in every one. And no doubt she'll make her way across town and bowl the Women's Championships at some point too. She is from Daly City, California. So probably not too far away. But again, we'll do a little focus piece on those 20-year ladies at some point in the near future. It'd be cool to hear from them and what it's been like over the last 2 decades.
Certainly, Matt, and those opportunities have certainly brought upon some fantastic bowling as well. Shannon O'Keefe with a 300 here at the Open Championships. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
That was last year in the team event. She shot 755, helped her team into 4th place.
I was going to say, and one of our banners up here, Brenda Padilla, along with her husband Steven, 1566 doubles record in Las Vegas, Nevada in 09. So Winnie McPherson's 812 in 2006 to win regular singles. So it's certainly been fun watching everybody out here at the Open Championships.
Well, I was just taking a look at Bryan O'Keefe's participation record, and he also started in 1994, and this is his 20th tournament. So he and Zon Soto, both 20 consecutive years here. Bryan averaging 213 for his career. And team event 209. So he struggles a little bit. I won't say struggles. I'd love to shoot 209 here, let alone average that in any event. But Bryan gets progressively better as the events progress. 209, 213, 216. And his wife, Shannon, big in the team event, 234.2 in her 4 appearances, 653, 710, 692, and 755 with a 300. So her Team USA roots, she's all about the team. And we'll see if she can get back on track here as we look at Chris Viali up on the left lane, trying for 4 in a row. He started the night with 190, but seems to be lined up here in game 2. We like that one, but the 10 does not cooperate. you're just joining us, we do appreciate you being here. If you're interested in seeing game number 1, you can check out the archived feed of this Cambridge 1 and 2 broadcast. It'll be available on YouTube later tonight. That and all of our other broadcasts as well. So check that out. Some great videos coming from Matt Lawson as well from both these events. You can find that on youtube.com/BowlTV. All that good stuff. If you want to just take the opportunity to watch some of our great teams so far. Lodge Lanes 2, for example. See how they're playing the lanes, get a quick idea of what it's going to take to succeed. You can find all that on our YouTube channel and much more. But this is just one of 2 dozen or so broadcasts. So again, if you want to see the upcoming live stream schedule, you can find that on the main page of bowl.com. And Lucas Wiseman up next, the 16th through the 19th of April. Some collegiate action. And then I will be back here from the Open Championships on April 20th. Rick Steelsmith, John Drabinski, Jesse Buss, some familiar names. Wichita State bowlers. At some point in their careers, Rick Steelsmith headed to the USBC Hall of Fame in just a few weeks. So looking forward to that. Many more great bowlers will be featured as the year progresses. But tonight is all about Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments from last year working the U.S. Women's Open here in Reno was having a brief run-in with Rick Steelsmith. He was out here. We also had the Bowl Expo and Convention, I believe, all going on at the same time. And working late one night, all of a sudden Rick popped his head in looking for someone, and I'm like, I can't believe it. That's Rick Steelsmith right there.
That's funny because I talked to him a little bit about his Hall of Fame stuff going on, and letting him know the good news. And he actually told me the same story, and said that he stopped by the National Bowling Stadium and he walked in, and holy cow, that's Aaron Smith. And so he was very impressed with the opportunity to see you as well. So go ahead and we can ask him about that. You guys are actually bowling on the same squad this year. If no, same day?
Same day.
Same day, different squads. So you will not be in the booth with us. But no doubt you'll be there watching them and see who goes first. We're going to be at 7 p.m., I believe, so that means you're at 3?
No, they're at 3.
They're at 3. All right, I better get those times right. So good, the opportunity for you to take a look at them and get lined up before you hit the tournament lanes. And a great shot there from Shannon O'Keefe for a double.
It looks like she's back on track after making that second ball change there. Might have been just been the wrong part of the lane or a bad shot. She's adjusted nicely these last 2.
Well, she's had a lot of bowling the last couple days. Bowled the Bowlers Journal Championships yesterday. The opportunity to get a look at the doubles and singles lane condition. I believe they bowled that twice. She shot 550 and small 600. Then she went over and bowled the Women's Championships team event last night, and I saw them today downstairs at the 900 Global Showcase lanes for their 1-hour team practice session. So if you're a competitive bowler and you like prize money, this certainly is the year to come to the Open Championships or the Women's Championships. So many great events in this building and nearby. And Bryan O'Keefe matches his wife with a double. Stephen Padilla joining us in the chat room. We just mentioned him. 2009 regular doubles champion with a record score of 1566 with his wife. One of the coolest moments I've ever been a part of at the Open Championships. Watching the 2 of them work together to come away with that title. And then Brenda followed it up with a 300 game in singles. Very emotional experience for her. She grew up coming to this event with her family. And now that's something they'll share forever. And their names hang over the lanes. The highest double score in history. So if you look up in the rafters, down here on the lower side of the venue. All of last year's champions. Pretty nice championship feel here, just like going into a championship basketball arena, for example. Those banners hanging from the ceiling proudly. And on the high side, all the tournament records. So some big numbers. We already saw one fall this year. The team score, 35-37, stood for 20 years. That was Brugger's Bagels back in 1993. And Lodge Lanes too. In a really cool moment, John Janowitz, Team USA member and two-time champion here, stepped up needing all 3 strikes in the 10th frame to take that record by a single pin, and he delivered like it was his job. And he delivered again the next day with a big finish to take the all events lead as well, 21-69. And there's a miscue from our left-hander, Chris Soule. He struggled in game 1 to a 153 start. And a pair opens, and now a gutter ball here in game number 2. He also a All-American at William Patterson in the early 1990s. 195 career average here in 13 events. Pretty solid in his last 2 team events here in Reno, 638 and 636 in 2010 and 11.
I know you mentioned all events a little bit earlier there, Matt. See Brian Goebel. Saw your Facebook post from the Women's Championships. Making a run at the all events lead, finishing a little bit short at 21-10. I believe he was a 10-time PBA champion.
10-time PBA champ, had a great night last night, 756 in the team event. His teammate Ken Carson with 300 game, the 8th of the year. And I was actually downstairs at the Showcase Lanes talking to our latest VIPs, and I was following along on my X Bowling app on my iPhone to see how Mr. Goebel was faring upstairs in doubles and singles. And as you said, he came up a little bit short, 21-10. Janowitz, of course, on top at 21-69. But the fact that I was able to keep tabs on that live from downstairs, very cool. X Bowling Tournament Edition, free app on my iPhone, and I didn't miss a minute of the action.
Great shot there by Shannon, ringing 10. After Ron Nelson Jr. got back on track after 2 opens. Ron Nelson Jr. from the Chicagoland area. I've got a chance to watch him bowl quite a bit, a few tournaments here and there. I actually got to watch him bowl the Peterson Classic this past August, I believe, and I think Ron's performance landed him in the top 10. I believe he was just under the 1,600 for 8 games, and for any of you who have shot the Peterson, you realize that's quite a feat to be right around even.
All right, let's see if Bryan O'Keefe can step up on lane 27 and make it 3 in a row. The left-hander Bruce Hall up on the right lane. Goes with Brooklyn for a strike, but looks the same on the scoreboard nonetheless. Once again, Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Sponsored by Cambridge Credit Counseling. Big supporter of bowling at various levels of the game. Bryan O'Keefe leaves a 10-pin. See if Soule can get comfortable here. He guttered 1 frame ago. Gets that one wide left again. He's trying to loop it a little bit too much. I'm not sure what the strategy is there.
I was going to say, in our few live streams so far, we haven't seen a ton of lefties, but most of the lefties we've seen up close for a while have been keeping their angles pretty tight, playing more or less right up the boards as long as they can. So this is certainly a different look.
Yeah, this team pattern, 41 feet, sport certified, so certainly very challenging. It has yielded some high scores, however. But most often, straighter is greater. Keep those angles tight, as you mentioned. Going across too many boards, give away the pocket. Bill Webb not giving away anything. Started tonight with 257. Working on a three-bagger here. Great shot, make that 4. Now this team talented enough that on any year, any one of them could step up big and put up a big set. Shannon O'Keefe did it last year with 755 in the team event with 300 game. Bill Webb stepping up this year. I think the key, of course, obviously, is more than one of them being able to have a big set at the same time, if not all of them. That's we're just going to take, of course, 35-38, a huge number. And Ron Nelson feeling pretty good about that shot as he doubles up. So
looks like
5 strikes and a pair opens here in game number 2.
It looks like he made a ball change and moved in as well. He looked like he went to something with a little bit more surface.
Well, we talked earlier about their early game plans. Shannon said it was pretty simple. They wanted to start right and create a little room and then start moving left. But as we saw in game 1, they all didn't necessarily follow that. And Matt McNeil pointed that out. A couple guys further left, maybe a little too much surface. And then we talked about the experience. The top team here, Cambridge won. 5 familiar names, very accomplished over the last few decades even. At various levels, Team USA, collegiately, World Team Challenge. But Cambridge, too, lacks that experience and certainly not household names. And perhaps that plays into it a little bit. And easy when you're a newcomer to this event, just a couple of years, to potentially panic almost and get twisted around and want to get to where you're comfortable rather than stick with the game plan. But we'll see how things develop. I know we've said that about 30 times so far. That's why we're here.
There's a common theme.
Last year, Cambridge 1 finished with a huge game on a challenging condition to end up in 4th place. They shot 33-19. This year, however, that'll just get them into 10th place at this point, and we're only a month or so in. So some big scores here in 2013. 35-38 on top. 33-19 is 10th place right now. So Bill Webb leading this charge back up on the right lane. He is struck in 5 of 6 frames, trying to make it 5 in a row here. Gets the 4-pin to go.
I think I ran a little high on him, but all 10 in the pit.
And we've been trying to play the guessing game on the equipment situation. I know I talked to Shannon a little bit earlier today about what she was going to start with and what she had to go to. A little challenging to see from where we are as far as what the balls are. Some more distinguishable than others. Obviously, when Bill Webb went to the gold Tour IQ or the Storm ball there in the field ball of game 1, very easy to tell what that was. I believe he's throwing the roto grip disturbed here.
I believe that as well, man. I think that's also what Ron Nelson has switched to. I think he was throwing a older ball in the roto grip line, Nomad, earlier in the first game, but I believe both of them have switched to disturbs, which both have a little more surface and seem to be matching up pretty well here.
We talked about last night's excitement, the 300 game in the team event. Brian Goebel's team making a run. They finished with 32-46 at the same time. This team from Wichita, Kansas, Blue Ball Rebellion. And they're actually coming back out tonight at 10:30, but Adam Ferry led the way with a 780 set. So we'll keep an eye on him for all events later tonight. James Head III, Adam Miller, Henry Zakruski, so we'll have potentially some news there, but again, 10,247, a big number. Anytime you shoot 10,000, very solid. So those guys about 400 over going into doubles and singles. They need another 600. So we'll see. And if you're curious about how that turns out, well, if they do anything, we'll have that news for you on Bull.com tomorrow. If you're curious about last night's 300 game, Ken Carson, the 8th of the year. You can find a nice story about him on Bull.com right now.
And Ron Nelson is stepping up on lane 27 currently. Ron with 5 out of 7 strikes, 2 opens in the 4th and 5th frame.
Yes, the messenger can't get the 10 to go. And Chalifo blows over that 10 pin on lane 28. He started with 217, game number 1. Right here, Shannon O'Keefe, longtime Team USA member, world champion, women's championships, scratch team titleist. She's pretty much accomplished it all, and now she's here to win an eagle, perhaps.
Yeah, the roll 2. The right-hander's best friend when the trip 4 isn't happening.
Dave Armstrong checking in, taking some notes tonight. Armstrong Printing will be here in just a few weeks. There's some other great bowlers in the building tonight. Ryan Whitney rolled the first 300 game of the 2012 Open Championships. He'll be on that 10:30 squad as well. Him and Chris Hans made a run at doubles last year. See if they can give it a go here in 2013. 14:03 currently leading regular doubles. Of course, the lower scores in doubles this year, a product of fresh oil for every squad for the first time in history. Every squad contested on fresh oil. Brand new schedule this year. Team events are at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. back-to-back. Doubles and single squads at 7 a.m., 10:30. Oh, I'm sorry, 7 a.m., 11 a.m., and 10:30 p.m. So, a little less prime time. But the reason for that is 6 on a pair for doubles and singles. So more people on the lane means the need for less squads. So 3 squads, 6 on a pair, and another first. You do not flip. You bowl all 6 games on 1 pair of lanes. So teams coming in early, trying to simulate the team event, get their 6 players out there, work together. These guys working together here. Bill Webb having a phenomenal night so far. That's 6 in a row after a 250 start in game 1. So big numbers here. If he can get everybody else on board, we'll be looking at a solid team event here.
Nice shot by Bruce Hall on lane 28. It's going a little more direct from the left side.
Viale with a big strike there in the 8th frame. So that's 4 in a row for Cambridge 1. And a double for Seoul. All right, so 2 big frames coming up here for Cambridge 1. Everybody in the pocket, most of them striking. Ron Nelson threw a great shot in the 8th frame. Didn't get a break, left a 10 pin. After a double, let's see if he can finish strong here. He started the night with just 195.
This time the 10 falls out late. A little help across the way. Setting up the foundation frame here in the 9th for Cambridge 1. Stephen Dale Jr. having a nice game as well. 8 on 9 strikes, 279 out there after a 207 start.
So here's Shannon O'Keefe for 3 in a row. A couple bad breaks tonight, a pair of 710s. Not a doubt, absolutely. So there's 3 in a row for her. She's all about the team event, averaging 234 in 4 previous appearances.
That would be an interesting list somewhere down the line. When we feature the top averages over the years, it'd be fun to see who is high in each event. His 230s is pretty respectable.
It's a pretty solid number. So all these guys pretty good in the 2 teens for their career averages. Bryan O'Keefe, we talked about already, 213 in his career. This is year number 20. Most of these guys have been around various levels of the game. O'Keefe leaves the 2-pin. He's a collegiate national champion. He's got some gold medals at the Tournament of the Americas back in the day. A lot of wins in the World Team Challenge. Of course, Webb, Viale, Chalifo, Dale, Gaskill, Chris Soule, all big up there in the Northeast, New England area. NEBA regulars, a lot of accomplishments on their resumes. Cambridge Credit Counseling, big supporter of bowling. And a great mix of bowlers here at the Open Championships earlier tonight. Maynard Johnson celebrated 60 years on the tournament lanes. So Maynard, just a dedicated guy, loves the event. Glad to be a part of it, glad to have him here. Great shot there from Bill Webb. Leaves the 10-pin. Of course, Aaron, as we know, everybody's here for a different reason. Some folks eagle hunting. For some it's a vacation. For some the idea of participating for years and years and knowing that they have somewhere to be the same weekend every year to see their names perhaps on the participation wall for 25 years or more. Some chasing that 71-year party record, some the pinfall record, some want to collect eagles.
It's a little bit for everybody out here at the Open Championships.
No matter what, we appreciate everybody being here.
Great shot by Ron to start off the 10th frame.
And as someone just pointed out in the chat room, Shannon O'Keefe, a team player in the softball world as well. She actually tried out for Team USA in softball back when she was a teenager. She played softball in college. Chased the bowling dream a little bit as well. Then got a real job, and now she works at the United States Bowling Congress down in Arlington, Texas. Shot for Vialli in the 9th frame. So he'll head into the 10th working on a double. Shot there from Nelson. It's 3 in a row for him.
By my quick math here, with one more strike for Ron, we'll still have 1187 out there.
Aaron is our numbers guy, always doing the number crunching. I'm sorry I destroyed the calculator.
It's okay. We have a nice one at the Women's Championships that I can use every day. So. .218 for Ron Nelson Jr. Coming back after a 195 start. Shrugging off those early opens in the 4th and 5th frame.
And just 4 holes on the board here. 2 for Nelson, 2 for Shannon O'Keefe. One of them a 7-10 in the 1st frame. So she's made the right ball change. She's right where she needs to be. Had 1 bad shot so far tonight. And paid the ultimate price with the split, but she's working on 3 in a row right now. Looking for a strong finish here in game 2. She started with 226.
She gets them all out.
You're watching the end of game number 2. This 7 p.m. team event. We're live at the National Bowling Stadium, lanes 27 and 28. Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Talented players shooting at a big number, 35-38.
Still tough to say.
It's tough to say, and it's awesome to watch, though. John January, Team USA member, 2-time champ. Came up big in the 10th frame, had no idea what he needed, but delivered for his team. Shannon O'Keefe delivers for her team. That's 5 in a row for the world champion. She'll be in the 220s again. Stephen Dale started with 207. Still got 270 out there here in game 2. So a lot of strikes being thrown. We talked about their starting strategy, how they're breaking down the lanes, how that was going to affect them later. And obviously that's still to come. But game 2 going pretty well for most of them.
Looks like Shannon's going to try something different on the fill ball here. Looks like a deviate diva, perhaps.
A little bit shinier. Lucky to leave just the 8-pin. That ball never really made a move. It was all skid. So I have a feeling we're not going to see that ball again in game number 3, at least not at the start. She finishes with 223 to go along with 226.
Stephen Dale's run strikes ends with a 4-pin on his second shot in the 10th. He's in the 260s.
Shannon O'Keefe a little bit behind her 234 team average, so she's going to have a big finish here to maintain that awesome number. See if they can get some help here from her husband, Bryan O'Keefe, Team USA assistant coach. Mixes them up, leaves just a 7. O'Keefe started with a 2:14. I know he's going to have a breakout at some point. They got real close in 2009, 3rd place in doubles. Last year, 4th place in team on a lower scoring year. I know he's capable. We've seen him at the Bowlers Journal at one point. If not still, the highest 4-game set back when that event was 4 games, back to 3 games this year. Bowlers Journal Championships. So certainly capable. Spare no problem.
Matt, I don't know if you got to see it while you were setting up and sitting down here, but there's a humongous crowd in the grandstands watching these folks compete.
Well, I actually
earlier.
saw some of them. They're actually here to watch them compete.
I like it.
Now, Shannon did get to sign a few autographs, and while we did not, did shake a few hands, some folks stopping by. Very cool to have them here in person.
I was going to say, one of the, after we started here, as we mentioned, Shannon bowled at the Women's Championships yesterday. She subbed on a team out of Huntsville, Texas, I believe. And one of the ladies returned. Remember seeing her while they were bowling, and she actually brought a pin for Shannon to sign. So cool little memento to take home for that team, and certainly a nice surprise to end up with Shannon O'Keefe as your 5th.
Well, I think Bryan O'Keefe and his teammates glad to have Shannon as their 5th as well. We talked earlier about how we thought that might never happen. They joked that this was about Bryan getting to spend some time with his friends and the boys, and when your wife's a world champion, it's kind of hard not to have her on the team, and she's been a great asset ever since. So Bryan finishes with 2:17 to go along with 2:14. So a little bit off pace of that 8:13 I predicted, but still 2 more sets to make that happen. Bill Webb is going to step up on lane 27. He's been right on all night, throwing that roto grip disturbed.
Just looking for another 250 game here with the double. And gets the 4 to fall out.
And that's the 3rd time in the last 4 shots that 4 went late. So he's going to have to make a little bit of a move, not much, maybe a scotch on the approach.
A scotchment.
Just something to get that ball to push another half a foot or so, or he's going to be looking at a 4-pin in no time. So obviously Bill, very accomplished. He's got to be thinking about that. He did have 748 in the team event back in 2011 right here at the National Bowling Stadium. 637 last year on the way to that 4th place finish. Looking for his 3rd consecutive all events total of 2,000 or better. So he got that one a little bit right and rings a 10-pin. So we did talk strategy and game plan earlier. Of course, this Cambridge team, very accomplished and very talented.
They're having a real nice 10th frame here as well.
And they can certainly get it done just based on raw talent alone.
249 for Bill Webb. Bruce Hall on the companion team, 234.
So Aaron, we talked about these guys taking advantage of every opportunity inside this building. The team practice session on the team lane condition downstairs. They bowled the Bowlers Journal Championships, and they came in with a game plan. So for the rest of those folks coming to town, there's tons to see and do inside this very building. So certainly plan on it. A lot of prize money out there to be won, not just the $5 or so million at the Open Championships, but smaller prize funds to get a piece of the action at the Bowler's Journal or the 900 Global 2-Game Challenge or the Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza. Different formats, different divisions, average based. Something for everybody to get your arm swing loose, get your skills sharp, so you can throw shots like Chris Vialli for 3 in a row. So 10-82, game number 1 for Cambridge 1. Already at 1100 here in game 2.
2 more strikes can get him to 1165.
So they are not far off pace from our top 3 teams. However,
still looking for that big 1200.
That's what it's going to take at this point to make a run at it. Potentially the highest game ever.
We'll calculate that up as soon as we can after Chris finishes up here.
But our second place team, junior team Midday Support, 1060, 12-0, 1250. Third place Red Carpet Lanes, 1075, 1152, and then 1272, the third highest game ever. So these guys pretty much on pace, at least through 2 games with those 2 teams. Of course, our leader, Lodge Lanes 2, 1206, 1167, 1165 for the highest score ever, 35-38.
And Vialli almost went 710 there. That's we've had a lot of those sneak up on us in our live stream so far. We've seen quite a few pocket 710s over the month and a half we've been out here. So hopefully that's the last one for a while. 1154. The final tally for Cambridge 1. Companion team, Cambridge 2, 1080.
All right, so 2 games in the books. Once again, this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live at the National Bowling Stadium. 7 p.m. team event here. We're watching Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe in the team event 2013 event here.
And Matt, you talked about a record score. Cambridge 1 will need a record score if they want to take over the lead this evening. 1303 is the number to take the lead and set a new record at the same. That would be 2 records at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, we saw the highest game ever bowled, 1281.
We certainly did.
Aaron, you saw that one in person. Actually, you were not working at the event at the time. We were live streaming that one.
It was actually we're sitting square in between where it happened. I was on 25 and 6. We're currently watching Shannon and company on 27-8 as she gets the late trip, and Jeff Riggles, Gail Myers, Steve Richter, Mark McDowell, and Mike Shady just went absolutely nutty the last game. 1281.
Yep, and that was enough.
Winning.
Highest game ever, and the 2011 regular team title right here at the National Bowling Stadium, but they escaped with the win at 34-73. But that number barely good enough for the top 5 here in 2013. Of course, the lanes can't always be impossible. Sometimes they're going to be hard, sometimes they're going to be a little bit easier. That's part of the challenge of the Open Championships. Every year a different lane condition. And this year, for the first time ever, 2 different lane conditions. One for team event, one for doubles and singles. A true test of versatility. So every year, a different adventure. Of course, you don't want the same thing out there. You want to challenge everybody. And while the patterns are more challenging than you might be used to at home, certainly the ability, the opportunity to attack them from various angles, all different styles, and that is a huge goal of our lane maintenance crew. Eric Pearson and our Kegel, of course, the lane maintenance provider, trying to come up with something that's fair. and challenging for all the players here. It's the national championship, so you got to earn it. Step up on the big stage, throw a good shot, fill frames. And that's what these guys are doing here in frame number 1 of game 3. 4 bowlers up, 4 strikes for Cambridge 1. Now Chris Viali, the president and CEO of Cambridge Credit Counseling. Big time bowler, big time bowling supporter. Trying to make it 5 in a row for his team. Once again, they need 1,300 plus. That's certainly the way to do it.
That's the way to start it.
1 frame in the books, 5 strikes, and we are on our way. We'll wait for Cambridge 2 to finish up first frame here, game 3, Bruce Hall. The left-hander from California. Hall with 170, 230. Appears to be lined up after a rough start. Again, only 2 left-handers on this pair. So while the righties have the advantage of playing the lanes together, breaking them down, coming up with a strategy, lefties, we're kind of on our own. You know, and if it's there to start, that's great. If it's not, it takes a little bit longer to make things happen. And game 1 for Hall, 170, and now he's lined up. Good shot there from Chalifo for a double.
We'll see Chris Soul up here on lane 28, the other lefty on our feature pair this evening.
Soul's been struggling. Shot 153 in game 1, 168 in game 2. Been changing balls, changing angles, going with something shiny there, and leaves the 5-7.
Yeah, he got that ball right off his hand and never gave it a chance.
So we talked to Mr. McNeil earlier, and we talked left-handed for a minute, and just talked about being just inside of 5, 6, 7, 8 area. Something smooth, something that gets down the lane. A little bit of surface, not too much. And straighter, definitely greater. Bryan O'Keefe stopping by to see. Taking a poll. There's 1,300 out there. Certainly, looking at the numbers and the resumes, I would say 1,300 absolutely is out there. And a good start, 5 strikes in opening frame. Ron Nelson up on the right, frame number 2.
Ron gets the 9-pin out. A fantastic shot. And they're off and rolling.
Well, Aaron, a lot of other great opportunities again in Reno this year. 3 side events inside the National Bowling Stadium alongside the Open Championships, the Women's Championships right across town. Break there for Shannon, almost had her 3rd 7-10 of the day, but leaves just the 10. And Aaron, we're right back here next year in 2014. Same setup, both tournaments back in Reno. And for those folks looking to sign up, the Open Championships entry's already open. A lot of great incentives. If you sign up your team and you pay early, you pay for everything and everybody by July 1st. All 5 team members earn $20 in championships cash upon check-in next year in 2014. And that can be used at brackets, side events, USBC Sports Store, anything on site. And if you choose to bowl at 10:30 p.m. and you pay everything by July 1st, you get a $55 rebate with your prize check. So it's basically like bowling singles for free. So for those folks out there who may not come to this event, they think the price or the entry fee may be a little bit high at $180. There's your opportunity to get $75 back. Just like that. All you have to do is sign up, pay in full by July 1st, and sign up for a 10:30 double the single squad. And that's money in the bank.
That's all you can ask for. Speaking of Money in the Bank, Bryan O'Keefe delivers a double here in frame number 2.
Bruce Hall has been lined up since game 1 ended. Leaves the 6-7-10 there. Frame number 2, that ball just jumped on him. Bill Webb now up on the right. It's been solid, 257, 249. Looking for a double here. Great shots for him. That's 3 really solid ring 10s. And I would imagine he did make that little move after tripping a couple of 4 pins in a row. And still a great shot. Hard to be right there. And potentially, you stay where you are and leave a 4 pin, or obviously make a move and throw it great and leave a 10 pin. All you can do is throw it well, pick it up, and move on.
That's very true. That is quite a predicament. Obviously, here at the Open Championships, you never want to give away the pocket, but when you're staring down 1,300 plus to take the lead, sometimes got to make a choice you normally wouldn't do in order to continue to strike.
Well, not a lot of room for 1,300, so we'll see if Viali can double up here and keep them on track. That one through the face, 4-6-7. So with every shot, the possibility of the lead disappearing. And at that point, it's get as many pins as you can, because Team All Events is the big one. The marathon, all 5 players, 9 games, 45-game marathon. Big number there as well, 10,247. The 10th highest in history, junior Team USA support. Those guys came up a little bit short in the team event and made up for it. The next day came in very motivated. And now at this point, Cambridge 1 is going to have to knock them down, collect them, and come up with a solid game plan for tomorrow to make a run at TAE. It doesn't pay much. It actually doesn't pay anything. But the prestige is priceless.
David Chalifo starts off with a 3-bagger here in game 3. After a 217-201 start, Ron Nelson Jr., leadoff bowler for Cambridge 1, up on the left. Yeah, it certainly looks like Ron is throwing the roto grip disturbed from our angle up here. I know Ron's on staff with roto grip. We also believe that's the same weapon of choice Bill Webb has been using after his 257-249 start.
Well, Aaron, a lot of folks come in here wondering what's the magic ball each year? What's it going to take? If I get this ball, am I going to get it done? Well, you have the opportunity to talk to some experts. We have some ball booths here. All the companies represented. You can come by early, talk to them about what's been working from their particular product lines. Or you can stop downstairs again, as we talked about numerous times already, the 900 Global Showcase lanes, where USBC Silver Coach Matt McNeil is there to offer his expertise. He's been here every day. He knows what's been working. He'll give you the advice, help you with your equipment selection, your team strategy, and you and up to 9 of your teammates can spend an hour with Mr. McNeil for $200, or you can do it by yourselves for $100. And we actually talked this morning, again, while I was down there with our VIPs. I was telling him that Brian Goebel was making a run at the All Events lead, and Brian stopped by yesterday to get some advice from McNeil, and they went through his bag and made some equipment choices, some changes, some surface changes, and obviously that paid off with 21-10 all events for Brian Goebel. So I think that guy knows what he's talking about, that McNeil character. 3 titles.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Since 2010. So definitely stop by. You can stop by the media relations office too, and we'll be glad to tell you what we think and give you some advice. But there's a reason that we're sitting back here in suits and ties watching the good bowlers. So either way, definitely stop by and say hello. You can also visit us on Facebook, and all kinds of USBC action happening on Facebook. There's the Sport of Bowling USBC, the main Facebook page for the organization. All kinds of great bowling news and information. Also a USBC Open and Women's Championships Facebook group, a tangent of that main Sport of Bowling page. And of course, yours truly, Matt Canizaro, USBC. Visit, become a fan, and hear all the good behind the scenes information.
What's the number at now, Matt?
The number is 636. That is how many folks are fans of Matt Canizaro, and I do appreciate it. And we're trying to up that number a little bit. All kinds of good information on there, so please stop by, like that page. Also visit us on YouTube, youtube.com/BowlTV. The archived broadcast that you're watching right now, as well as all of our other live streams from the Open Championships, soon to be Women's Championships, and all the other great USBC events. Lucas Wiseman headed on the road this week. Intercollegiate Singles and Team Championships in Lincoln, Nebraska, the 16th through the 19th. Check that out on Bowl TV. We have live video webcams inside the National Bowling Stadium, 3 of them. You can check out the action anytime. Point and click cameras. You can look at the scoreboards. You can take pictures of all your friends and family while they're bowling. For the very first time, 2 video cameras at the Women's Championships as well. We just put those up yesterday, so you can go to the Women's Championships page on bowl.com and check out the action live from the Reno Sparks Convention Center. So a lot of things happening on bowl.com, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Don't miss a minute of the news and action.
Once again, the Women's Championships being held at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. Just an absolutely gorgeous facility. Greg Moore and his team over there put together a fantastic effort, and it certainly shows. It's got everything. It's just a great facility, and be sure, even if you're coming down just to bowl the Open, or you're not a female USBC member and can't bowl it, it's still something cool to check out. It's the first time the Reno Sparks Convention Center has been built out since 1990. So we've been coming to the Open for that long. You may remember that. So be sure to stop by, walk in, and you got a concession area, vendors, even a pro shop over there too. So check out the action, check out the lanes.
Of course, the Open Championships making its record 11th visit to Reno, Nevada. The National Bowling Stadium opened its doors in 1995, but prior to that, the Open Championships held at the Reno Sparks Convention Center, 1977. That's where we saw the first 800 in Open Championships history. Lou Viet, 804 in the team event. And then back in 1984 and in 1990, we saw Mike Newman from Buffalo, New York, win 4 titles on the opening weekend.
That had to be a long wait.
And there's a terrible break for Bryan O'Keefe, 7-10. It's the 3rd one we've seen from the O'Keefe family so far tonight. And as far as the Women's Championships, Aaron, as you know, that event held in traditional bowling centers for many, many, many years, but now for the 3rd time being held in the convention center setting that debuted in 2010 in El Paso, Texas, moved to Syracuse in 2011, and now will spend back-to-back years in the Reno Sparks Convention Center, 44 lanes and so much more. Check that out. And you can see it live. Again, 2 webcams in that facility. Registration for the 2014 Women's Championships will open on May 1st. If you want to come bowl the Open in 14, that's already open. Open on March 1st. So get in there, pay early, lock in your dates and times. You don't want to be left out. And of course, Aaron, sounds like a great big commercial. Right now, it's a great big commercial for Roto-Grip, the Disturbed, knocking down some pins for Bill Webb and Ron Nelson Jr. So if you are headed this way, mybowlingvacation.com, your one-stop shop for USBC travel. Get to the events, lock in your hotel rooms. If you do book 3 nights here in Reno this year at mybowlingvacation.com, 3 room nights will get you a free entry at the 2-game challenge downstairs. So we're just throwing money at you. Again, if you pay early for next year, you could potentially come away with $75, then a $40 free entry at the 2-game event. You'd be foolish not to take advantage.
Let's see what Chris Viali does here. He's fallen off track these past 2 frames. Just like that.
Great shot there. And Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, it's Jason Hurd just walked by, standing right next to me. PBA champion. Booming right-hander. Some Florida boys in town, it looks like. Saw a couple earlier. So looking forward to see who's not on our notables list, but ends up showing up at the National Bowling Stadium every day in adventure. As we talked about, of course, we know why we're here. Team USA member Shannon O'Keefe, her husband Bryan, and a very talented team from all over the country here. Well represented from the Northeast. Ryan Whitney, Chris Hans. Made a run at doubles last year. They're going to be bowling tonight at 10:30, doubles and singles. Wichita team last night shot 33.75, so they'll make a run at team all events tonight at 10:30 as well. You just never know who's going to walk in the door.
David Chalifo just walked into the front 5 here in Game 3. Ron Nelson looking to match him up on 27.
That ball read very early. And a terrible break, big 4. Ron Nelson knows how to throw the big shot here at the Open Championships. Shot 300 in doubles in 2009. But it's not going to happen again here tonight.
Nelson takes the 2 for the team.
We're not in the best spot here, Aaron. Behind lanes 27-28. We've got the big grandstands behind us. A lot of folks want to get by, check out the action. A crowd on hand. I'm sure the stands are full behind us. Anytime Shannon O'Keefe walks into a building, heads are going to turn. Because she's a great bowler, of course, they want to see where the world champion is playing on the lanes and see if they can match her success. She's been phenomenal in the team event in her career here at the Open Championships, averaging 234. A little bit off that pace here tonight, 226, 223. Working on 3 spares here in game number 3. There's that ball she went to at the end of game 2, and it just kind of slid down the lane and never really made a move, no pop, and she leaves a flat dime. So she's been in the pocket, but just not driving through the pins the right way.
So, man, what do lefties call a flat dime?
Well,
how's that translate?
Pretty sure it's still a flat dime. But we did work for many, many hours trying to come up with something equally as playful for a flat 7 pin, and we never did come up with anything good. So if you have any ideas, certainly visit us on Facebook. Stop by Matt Canizaro, USBC, and give us your thoughts. Always want to make this broadcast more entertaining. Some would argue it'd be more entertaining with the sound off, but that's not how it works here. You get what you signed up for, you get what you pay for. You get to listen to Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith for 3 hours at a time. It does not get any better, folks. We're live at the 2013 USBC Open Championships, and we do appreciate every one of you joining us here. A lot of excitement here tonight. Maynard Johnson celebrates 60 years at the Open Championships, a very elite club. We'll talk to him later tonight. We'll have that featured for you on bowl.com tomorrow. Couple pairs over. Zon Soto, one of 11 women expected to participate for the 20th time this year. That might not sound that impressive, Aaron, but women first invited to the Open Championships in 1994. So she has been to every single one since. So very cool. Again, 11 women scheduled to compete for the 20th time this year. And a couple pairs over to our right. Your cousin Christopher Smith has 5 consecutive strikes here to start game number 3, so we'll keep an eye on how that develops as well. And Bill Webb continues to strike here for Cambridge 1. 257, 249. And now he's got 4 strikes and 5 frames here in game number 3.
He will not get our first 800 this evening, but certainly set up for a nice chance at all events tomorrow. And who knows, maybe the first 800 as well.
Well, a lot of close calls.
We saw that yesterday with our gentleman who shot 300 after going the front 10 in game number 2 to finish at 286. You don't do it the first time, you might as well do it the second, right?
Absolutely. You're going to get a second chance at it. You certainly want to take advantage of that, and he did. Great shot from Nelson there on the right lane. Looks like the left lane starting to develop a hook spot. Viali also goes high. Leaves the 410 after Ron Nelson, big forward. So we'll see if they make a move on the left lane in frame number 7. But right now, they're going to head to the right. Shannon O'Keefe stepping up. She struck in frame number 1. 4 spares since. See if she can get back on track. And she does. 1,300. Not going to happen today. Not going to be a new leader. Not going to be a new record. They need to get every pin they can if they're going to make a solid run at team all events. These guys bowl at 11 a.m. tomorrow. You can watch their scores through your X Bowling app, X Bowling Tournament Edition, live scoring, and much more from the tournament lanes. You can follow along xbowling.com/tournament on your computer. Or you can watch on the webcams on the Open Championships page on bowl.com. So many ways, so little time. But right now, a beautiful Saturday night here in Reno. Appreciate everybody joining us. Tomorrow, a lazy Sunday. We get bowling on one screen, golf on the other. Perhaps Bill Webb will give you something to read about. He's looking for 4 in a row here.
Just a great shot from Bill Webb. He didn't catch all the first game, but obviously 257. But has he missed the pocket yet?
He's been right there. And again, just a couple trip 4 pins, a couple of ring 10s. This easily could have been 8 and a bunch. Get a couple of breaks, but he's locked in. Tomorrow, however, a different lane condition for the first time in history. So we'll go from 41 feet to 39 tomorrow. So we'll see how these folks can combat that lane condition. 2 feet shorter. A lot of teams so far going to a little bit weaker equipment. Same strategy. Break them down together. It's a doubles and singles pattern. Proven to play a little bit tougher for the first time in history. Fresh oil for doubles and singles. Maybe that's playing into it. But Aaron, while we have this opportunity, let's take a look at the leaderboards. Right now we've talked a lot about the team event. 35-38, highest score ever on top. 33-19 to make the top 10. But let's get a rundown of the rest of the events.
All righty, Matt. In regular doubles, we actually have a tie for the top spot at 14:03. Joe Conti Jr. and Derek Magno out of New York, as well as Chris Green and Joe Keltner out of Wichita, Kansas. Green and Keltner, of course, part Team Tilt, the 2008 regular team champions. Joe Conti Jr., also a Bowler's Journal champion, I believe at the 2009 event, so certainly some recognizable names up top. Sitting in third place, more champions. Russ Wilson and Jay Futrell out of Kansas, 1396. In fourth place, Ben Haves out of Mobile, Alabama, and Henry Teets III out of West Allis, Wisconsin, our 2012 regular singles champion with 800, currently in fourth with 1392. We have a tie for fifth, Curtis Rasnick Jr. and Sr. out of Fairborn, Ohio, 1366, along with Steve Novak and PBA champion Anthony Lacaze, also at 1366. And of course, they're part of Junior Team USA Support 1, who's on top of Team All Events. Moving on to singles. This one, we haven't seen too much change in singles these past few weeks. Kelly Bonta still standing strong out of Wichita, Kansas with a 776, which included a 300 game. Gregor Roberts out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, 771. In third, Robert Young, Ontario, California, 769. Bill Farber, St. Cloud, Minnesota, 755. Rounding out the top five, former Junior Team USA and Team USA member Eric Vermilia out of Mansfield, Texas, 751. Eric, of course, also part of Junior Team USA Support 1. Moving on to regular all events. John Janowitz, two-time champion here, member of the Lodge Lanes team that set the team record a few weeks back, leading in regular all events with 2169. Joe Keltner out of Wichita, Kansas, 2154 in second. Steve Novak out of Bay City, Michigan, 2153. 10-time PBA champion Brian Goebel out of Shawnee, Kansas, 2110. And rounding out the top five, Brandon Berlinski out of Flint, Michigan at 2103, and those are actually the only folks to crack 2100 so far this year. Finally, team all events, we've talked about that plenty. Junior Team USA Support 1, Mansfield, Texas, 10,247, 10th highest of all time. Team Tilt out of Lawrence, Kansas, 10,065. Red Carpet Lanes out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, a very talented bunch of guys there, 10,007. Fourth place, Brunswick Five Horsemen out of Racine, Wisconsin, featuring several past champions in Ron Vokes and Henry Teets III, 9841. And our regular team leaders, Lodge Lanes 2 out of Orlando, Florida, are in fifth with 9820.
All right, thanks for the rundown. And question about Lodge Lanes 2. Some folks are wondering about Scotty Newell, the PBA champion. How is he eligible for this event? Just to clarify, this event open to all USBC members and PBA members as well. The only folks not allowed to compete at the Open Championships are those who are designated as exempt players on the PBA Tour. Now, the exempt tour has gone away, but the current rules read that if you were exempt during the 11-12 season, you're not eligible, obviously, to bowl in 2012 or 2013. at the Open
year.
Championships, and that's always how it's been. Once you leave the tour, you had to sit out that 1 year, and now this is that year with the exempt status going away. So that is the reason that we got to see Anthony Lacaze this year. He was formerly exempt and skipped his appropriate number of events, and was glad to be back. He's now part of the Team All Events leading team. Scott Newell, however, was never exempt. Dom Barrett, who somebody mentioned in the chat room, never exempt either. Stuart Williams, never exempt. And now you wonder, they did win titles last year, but just because of the way that the PBA is transitioning here in currently and in the future, those guys all eligible to bowl here in 2013 based on the fact that they were never exempt. But the rules changing for 2014. If you are in the top 50 on the PBA money list, or you have won a title in the last 2 years, you're not eligible to compete in 2014. So all three of those gentlemen we mentioned, Don Barrett, Stuart Williams, Scott Newell, although they were never exempt, they likely will be in the top 50 in points, and they did win titles last season. So they will be saying goodbye to the Open Championships after 2013 indefinitely. And we might see some new folks coming back, of course, with the new PBA situation. So all of those rules and more can be found under the Rules and Information tab on the Open Championships page. I know that's a lengthy explanation, but here's an observation that needs no explanation. Aaron's cousin Christopher Smith over here to our right now has the front 7 here in Game 3. Those X's have all turned red. We'll keep our eyes on him. If you'd like to follow along at home, X Bowling Tournament Edition app or xbowling.com. That is lane 31. But right now our attention is on 27 and 28. We're not going to see a new team leader tonight, but we certainly could see a great head start towards Team All Events. Cambridge 1 and Cambridge 2. Sponsored by Cambridge Credit Counseling. Big bowling supporter. And Cambridge 1, very accomplished group. All struck in frame number 7. So trying to set up a big finish here in Game 3, 2013 USBC Open Championships.
Just going back to lane 31 with Christopher Smith. A fantastic team name, especially from Reno here. Awful, awful. One of the fine sandwiches you'll find out here in the biggest little city in the world. Several places offer it, but nothing better than grabbing one downtown at the Nugget on Virginia. Matt, you actually introduced me to that fantastic sandwich for the very first time in 2010. I thank you for that. It's a yearly tradition now.
Reno is a delicious town, and there's just so much to see and do and enjoy here. Big sushi fan here, and big delicacy here in Reno, and of course, as you mentioned, the awful. And we sent some folks down there just the other day. Jeffrey Young, Wichita State collegiate champion, former junior Team USA member, stopped by and asked if it was worth the hype, and certainly it is. Right down the street at the Nugget, very reasonably priced and delicious, and that is just one of many, many great eating opportunities here.
It's really all about teaching the kids, Matt. And
that's what we're here for. I feel like we're here to provide a service. Of course, people come to us looking for insight. While we have no bowling insight, we can, of course, weigh in on the finer things in life. And for most of these folks, especially this year, there's a lot of bowling to be done inside the National Bowling Stadium. So chances are you're going to want to take off your shoes and get a bite to eat. Well, that's where we excel as far as advice there. So feel free to stop by Matt McNeil downstairs to get some bowling tips, and then stop by upstairs, and we'll tell you the happening spots here in Reno.
Brian Gaskell of Cambridge 2, running at 278 pace here, or 278 max, I should say.
Aaron, still a lot of discussion in the chat room about the PBA members. Again, if you'd like to check out the rules, those are available under the Rules and Information tab on the Open Championships page. A limit 2 PBA members per team and 1 per doubles team here at the Open Championships. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on Shannon O'Keefe and her husband, Bryan, about to step up here on the right lane, looking for 4 in a row. Cambridge won 1082, 1154. Trying to make a run at the top 10 here at the 2013 Open Championships. These guys finished 4th in the team event last year. And always a threat here at the Open Championships, and we'll see them tomorrow at 11 a.m. as they try to make a run at team all events as well.
And Bryan mixes up everything for his 4th straight strike here in the 8th frame. Setting up Bill Webb. Still got a chance at 280. Bill went Brooklyn his last shot. He tugged it quite a bit and was fortunate to still carry all 10. We'll see what kind of offering he can make here on lane number 28. And he gets the 7 to trip out late. Bill Webb living right. So by my calculations, he saw a 786 out there for his team event. So Ron Nelson strikes on 27.
And Aaron, it appears that Nebraska has edged out Vanderbilt for the NCAA women's bowling title.
How about that?
So a lot of bowling action happening all around. And of course the USBC X Bowling Intercollegiate Singles and Team Championships coming up here in just a couple of days. Lucas Wiseman headed to Lincoln, Nebraska. April 16th to the 19th. There's actually another collegiate champion standing right behind me. Eric Pollack, 1998 national champion at Wichita State University. Eric is a left-hander. Rare to see that at Wichita, but he was part of that winning team. I was there in person to see that national championship. Also saw Kelly Kulik step up and deliver in the 10th frame to lead Moorhead to the women's title. And there is nothing like Baker play in the collegiate realm.
I will certainly agree to that. I had the luxury of watching and covering the 2010 ITCs in El Paso, Texas. Same home of the women's championships that year, and certainly a few days of excitement. We didn't have the singles championship, just the team, but yeah, just talk about a whole lot of fun watching a lot of great kids bowl, and they're certainly setting the pace for the next group of bowlers further on down the line. Much like Junior Team USA Support 1, I believe all those folks had some kind of collegiate experience, and along with Team USA, Junior Team USA, and they certainly put that experience and to good use as they took over the team all events lead.
Well, many will argue there's nothing like team bowling, and there's nothing as special as Baker team bowling. And as we talked about earlier, these guys, Bryan O'Keefe especially, very familiar in the World Team Challenge realm. And if you'd like a taste of the collegiate / Baker format, you can find that downstairs. 3-person Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza. It's not quite the same, but in that event downstairs in average-based divisions, 3 of you will each bowl 3 frames in a game, and you'll get to pick who bowls the 10th frame. That's whoever's got the look will bowl the 10th frame. So a very cool format, very unique. A lot of prize money to be won there as well. Certainly check that out. If you never bowled in college, or you did and you missed it, that's a great opportunity to reminisce a little bit and experience that format again. Looks like, Aaron, we have a special guest in the chat room tonight. We have a Get on the Horse ball.
There's only one person I know who says that.
There's only one person. Emil Williams Jr. has coined the phrase. Part of our live stream team, 2010, 11, and 12. He'll be back, Aaron, no doubt. Part of the team, hopefully in the future. I know he's headed this way to come visit at some point as well. Maybe we'll get him on a broadcast or two while he's here. It'd be nice if he could fly in for April 20th.
There's still time.
Rick Steelsmith and Zerbinski, Jesse Bust. Since you'll be out there bowling, I can't make you work on the same day you bowl. I want you to go out there and concentrate. You need to set the bar so I can jump way over it when it's my turn. Don't want any distractions or excuses. But Emil, if you're out there, come on down.
Christopher Smith a few lanes away on lane 31 ended his string of strikes after 8 in a row. Start his final game. Still got a 278 out there, so always good to end day number 1 on a positive note. Come back strong for doubles and singles tomorrow.
Well, Cambridge 1 looking to end on a positive note here. 4 members of the team struck in the 9th frame, looking to set up a big finish here. 1082, 1154. Need a lot to get a head start for tomorrow by Ali. Spares the 10 pin in the 9th. We'll let the left-hander Chris Soule step up for his 9th frame before Ron Nelson. Top of the lineup for Cambridge 1.
Cambridge Run still has a shot of 1197 this game. Of course, we mentioned earlier they would have had to shoot a record score, 1303, if they wanted to get into the lead this evening.
Well, these guys always going to be a threat, very talented. But Matt McNeil talked earlier about how important it is to come in with a team game plan. It's just how the game works now, how this event works. It worked together, and it did not look like these 10 players were all on the same page coming in. And did their score suffer? Potentially, hard to tell. They're all very talented. Certainly were able to overcome. But again, who knows? If you put 10 super strong bowlers together, working together, what could happen? Ron Nelson doesn't want to hear any of that. He strikes the first shot in the 10th. Nelson had 195 and 218 so far tonight. These guys all close friends as well. Move around a lot around the country, but always come back together here at the Open Championships. Phenomenal shot there. He didn't seem to like it, but all I saw was 10 pins disappear.
Must be nice to have that problem, Matt. Hope to have that problem a lot next week.
Yeah, that's only a few days away. Are you ready? Have you been practicing? Have you been to the showcase lanes? I know you bowled the Bowler's Journal.
I bowled the Bowler's Journal. I participated in the 2-game challenge. I also bowled a practice session early in the tournament with some folks back home from Indiana, so gotten a chance. We got to test out the lanes over at the Reno Sparks Convention Center as well. Had some good times there as we prepared for the Women's Championships, so certainly had plenty of opportunities to bowl. Whether or not I'm ready is a completely different question.
Well, this time all the pressure's on me, as you're going to go out there and set the bar as I did last year, about, I don't know, knee-high for you. And we still got a couple weeks. Feeling pretty good about our team. And again, coattails Canizaro. I'm going to I ride those guys to the finish line, and I'm okay with that. A couple other great bowlers in the building. Derek Oaf headed this way, the 15th and 16th, I believe. I saw some of his teammates around earlier. He is my pick for a run at all events as well. He's been very close in recent years. I predicted him yesterday for 22-26. Whether or not that's enough to win, we'll see. But I see him putting up a solid number. Shannon O'Keefe trying to put up a solid number as she triples there with a double in the 10th. So minus a couple of 7-10s. A great night throwing the ball for Shannon.
A nice night for Stephen Dale Jr. as well. After a 207 start, 268, 247.
All right, 722 series for Dale.
Shannon finishes off her team event with a strike for a 225. Very consistent effort from Shannon today.
674 for O'Keefe, a little below her 234 average, but 674 anytime at the Open Championships, a phenomenal effort. Bryan O'Keefe stepping up with 5 in a row after an Open.
Brian's got 250 out there still this game.
I already told Brian he was going to shoot 813 tonight. Maybe he's just saving it for tomorrow because he didn't want me to.
Didn't want to give you the satisfaction of being right yet?
Exactly.
It certainly looks ready to go for tomorrow. This whole team does. So far, 7 out of 7 strikes in the 10th frame.
Well, certainly the big finish that we talked about. A surge, confidence boost going into tomorrow. New day, new game plan. Certainly you want a head start. They're already at 32-33. Not even halfway done here in the 10th frame.
I was going to say they believe they had a chance at 3,400 still with a real big out, and so far so good on that.
George Lambert checking in. George, a PABCON champion from Canada. He'll be coming this way in a couple of weeks as well. Wichita State Shocker. Thanks for joining us, George. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody joining us. Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live at the National Bowling Stadium. We're in the final frame. Aaron, I feel like I was just setting things up, and now it's almost over.
Time flies when you're having fun, Matt.
Certainly does. Big crowd still on hand. We do have a 10:30 squad coming out after this. Haven't had many so far this year, but we're pretty jam-packed. Once we get past this week, all the way until July. This event kicked off March 1st, will end July 7th. 10,253 teams coming our way. A long way to go, a lot of great bowlers.
Bill Webb stepping up the chance at 280 here after Bryan O'Keefe finished 245.
Bryan O'Keefe finishes with 676, edges out his wife by 2 sticks. Bill Webb, 257, 249, leading his team here in this team event. A couple of solid 10s, and otherwise he's been spectacular.
Couldn't ask for much more out of Bill Webb today.
potentially 786. I believe that would be our second highest team set, if I'm not mistaken. I think Vern Heidenreiter,
Our boy Vern.
shot 794. Almost had back-to-back 300s.
25 in a row for Vern on his. Actually stepped up in the 10th with a chance to not only make history, but get that first 800, and a 4-pin stood in his way. And a little love for the Bill Webb Brooklyn. I think he's earned that one after all the strikes he's thrown, so.
Makes up for one of those ranked 10s.
Exactly.
It all evens out. Got to have a little bit of luck. Question about lane assignments. Yes, you will get your lane assignments at check-in this year, so no advance notice when you check in your team. Surprise! Here's what lane you're on. Bill Webb, certainly glad that he's on 27 and 28 tonight. As he finishes with a flat dime for 279.
Great performance by Bill Webb. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, outside those two Brooklyns, I don't think he missed the pocket all day, so that was a fantastic performance.
785 for Bill Webb. Great head start. He'll try to chase down John Janowitz. 2169 leading regular all events. Janowitz had 752 in the team event. His teammate Vernon Peterson 772. So tomorrow again, new day, new pattern. We'll see. Right now it's about Chris Vialli trying to finish strong here for Cambridge 1. Great shot there, representing his own company.
That strike will get him into the 3400s as well. Still got a chance of 34-21, which would be enough for, well, they're in fourth place no matter what. There's quite a big gap between third and fourth at the current time. So Cambridge 1, live on Bull TV, moves into fourth place.
Well, these guys had
regular team
3,400 here in the past as well. Big numbers. They're again, they're always capable, and really does it come down to the team strategy and the companion team and working together? I don't know, but are they going to be happy about 3,400? Absolutely. They're here with their good friends. They look good. They're bowling well. Anytime you shoot 3,400, that would have been enough last year. 34.01, the winning score in Baton Rouge last year. These guys, 33.19, finished fourth, and they're going to be in the top 10 again.
Cambridge 2 finishes the last game, 1076 for a 31-37. Very respectable number.
Chris Soule struggles for Cambridge 2, but 31-37, very good.
And in the books, Cambridge 1 out of Arlington, Texas, 34-20. Once again to move into fourth place in regular team.
Let's see if we can get Bill Webb to come up here and talk to us, Aaron. We'll do some quick calculations here and on Vialli's series.
Not a problem, Matt.
All right, so it's 34-20 for Cambridge 1. Ron Nelson Jr., 654. Shannon O'Keefe, 674. Bryan O'Keefe, 676. Bill Webb leading the way, 785. Big monster performance there for the right-hander. And Chris Vialli, 631, 34-20. That is going to get them into fourth place. Big numbers this year and a great head start for Team All events tomorrow. These guys will be back on the lanes at 11 a.m. And you can find all the scores on bowl.com. You can watch live on X Bowling Tournament Edition on your phone or on your computer. Don't miss it.
Not terrible.
Bryan O'Keefe stops by, says, not terrible. 10,000 teams out there thrilled about 34-20. So we're waiting to see if we can we can get a hold of Bill Webb. But Bryan O'Keefe, while you're here, why don't you come on and chat with us for a minute? Oh, you did it now. All right, Bryan O'Keefe leading the way here with Cambridge 1. Bill Webb, he's on the phone right now, probably calling home.
Yeah, he didn't throw enough strikes, so he's got to practice a little.
785, there it is on the scoreboard. 279 the last game. Talk a little bit about tonight's strategy, if you can. I know I talked to Shannon earlier about you guys, starting to the right and creeping your way left. It didn't quite look like that's how things started out, however. Some more folks further left, a lot of surface out there. What went right, what went wrong?
Well, I mean, I think we didn't want to try and start too far to the right. 41 feet, we knew we were going to have hold, so we were looking at, 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. And I just think, especially the right lane, was really fresh down lane, which we weren't expecting that. We thought they'd be a little tighter in front of the head pin. And so I think it just kind of forced us immediately to play 10, which I was okay with personally, because I mean, it's 41 feet. If we end up playing 22, no big deal. But what really surprised us how quickly it kind of went. It went faster than what we thought it was going to, especially on shots that got a little farther right. You could really see it just pick up. And, especially Ron Nelson's ball. He had a couple shots that he thought he threw real good, and he got 6 through the middle, and Viale the same way. But really it was just the left lane was tighter in front of the pocket. The right lane hooked more. But, all in all, I would just say there's a lot of we left a lot of 10 pins.
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon a couple 7-10s. You had one as well.
Yeah.
A lot of pins that could have been. 34-20 though. You guys are in 4th place again. That's a pretty solid head start heading into team all events. Obviously a new pattern tomorrow, a new mindset. What's the goal of the strategy heading into tomorrow?
Well, I mean, it's pretty similar to last year, so we're all going to play farther right than we did here. Last year, I actually threw urethane the first game and a half, so I got my pink Stingray again. I may try it and give it a go in practice and see how it looks, but if not, we'll work from there. All in all, we bowled really well. We had a couple additions on Cambridge 2 team, and they have a little more rev rate, and they stayed to the right. So I think that just kind of broke them down that much faster. And I would almost say they got a little, not to say walled, but over, miss in a little bit. It doesn't want to hook, miss right. It wants to hook a little early, and that's just kind of what happens where it makes it hard to get the ball to face up at the right time, where you end up half 10, ring 10, 4-pin, half 10. And I tried a few different balls, but I ended up going back to the ball I used the first game after I pocket 7-10, just to try and get it to roll quicker. But
well, you guys 420 over, halfway there, a little bit less. But a friend of ours, Eric Vermelia, and his team, a huge push in singles to surge into the team all events lead, 10,247. That's a big number, but you guys have been there before. It's going to take some work. When Eric got back to headquarters, did he give you any secrets?
No, I actually haven't seen him since he got back, and he would just kibosh me anyways. He doesn't like me to bowl well, but just joking, of course. But yeah, that's a huge number. I actually thought the number that was leading before they bowled was a really big number, especially when you consider doubles is on the fresh and the pattern's not easy at all. But yeah, they helps when you bowl 3,500 in team, but then yeah, the doubles is almost just trying. Make sure you don't do anything stupid to the lanes and try and knock over as many as you can, and then like they did, just kind of bomb them in singles, hopefully.
Well, in of course 2009, you and Ron Nelson finished 3rd in doubles, so you can get there together. You know that. You guys put it together 3,400 more than once. You've shot 10,000 before, so it's definitely out there. You guys gonna go and powwow a little bit coming into tomorrow? You had a look at the Bowler's Journal earlier yesterday, and possibly even today.
Yeah, not a very good one.
Well, what was it, a learning experience? Did it help you come up with a strategy for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think Shannon and I, obviously with the training center there, we have the pattern out quite a bit, and after work I'll practice a little bit on it, so we're pretty familiar with that. The other guys don't get to bowl on it quite as much, but I think the Bowler's Journal helped them a little bit, and we all know what we got to do. It's just about, throwing good shots, not missing easy spares. I think, looking back, I think I was the only one that missed a spare. Brain fart, missed a 6-10. So really besides that, we got just about all the pins we could. So tomorrow, hopefully a lot more of the same, and go after Eric and his friends.
All right, well, certainly a huge finish there, 11:84. Bryan O'Keefe, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Solid effort. And Aaron's coming down with the camera, so we'll get a team picture. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
best
sir.
of luck tomorrow. And for those of you at home, you can read all about it, check out the scores, and so much more on bowl.com. And if you missed any of tonight's broadcast from the 2013 USBC Open Championships, you can find that on Bowl TV, youtube.com/Bowl TV. That and so much more archived for your viewing pleasure. So again, tomorrow, split screen it, watch a little bit of bowling, watch a little bit of golf, and then check back on bowl.com to see how Cambridge 1 and 2 did in doubles and singles for Aaron Smith, Bryan O'Keefe, Matt McNeil, and everybody else here at the Open Championships. This is Matt Canizaro signing off for tonight. We do appreciate it. That's the news for now, and we'll see you on the lanes.